welcome to the Earthbound Lecture. I am your host, Roland. Today I'm gonna...
Okay. So now that this fucker's out of the way...
No!
Keep in mind, he spent half an hour on this board that I took 30 seconds on.
You were... Because I...
Art student.
You can hear his little bitch cries from off camera.
Roland, you're gonna make that fucking mic break.
Okay.
Peeps over and over again.
Okay, so we're actually doing today on the Xenoblade Chronicles, a game infinitely better than Earthbound, apparently.
I hate this!
Then Harry.
Roland is crying.
I hate this!
Yeah, this is gonna be an episode. Okay, well, where to start? I should get my notes out.
Oh yeah.
I have notes.
Hey, Paul. Maybe you should, like, practiced first.
No.
Did a
I can
rehearsal.
practice.
Rehearsal, maybe? Perhaps a training?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Rehearsal doesn't exist. Okay, well, we start where most games start, the prologue. Our narrator is actually the main character of the game, Shulk, and he basically tells you how the universe began. Thank you.
Is he gonna do it?
Someone needs to keep track of the demerits. We lost count last
I'll do
time.
it.
She has a notebook. Do I get a demerit for everything I do?
Yes.
No, you got like 7 passes
Okay.
because
No,
I
you're
heard you
gonna
sobbing. So, we start we've got these 2 colossal giants, and by colossal giants I mean like small country-sized giants. I think we don't really have an exact measurement, but that's what I'm going with. Small country-sized giants with big-ass swords. They're going at each other. They're basically just standing in this sea of clouds, which might sound familiar if you saw the last lecture on the second game. We're doing things a little out of order here, but that's okay.
You can just upload them the other direction, though.
This is the prep.
We can do that. Anyway, so these titans, they're sitting in a sea of clouds, right? Or standing in a sea of clouds, I guess, going at each other with these big-ass swords, and eventually, I can speak, they kill each other. One stabs the other in the shoulder, and the other stabs one in the gut. Is that the gut? I don't know. I don't really care. Anyway, they both die, and you know they're big enough. One of them, the Bionis, is just this huge, lifelike. It's a nature-filled giant. He's got trees on his face and everywhere. He's basically just a large.
He hit puberty.
Yeah, pretty much. Large tree hairy giant. Yeah, so he dies, and that's where our story starts. Sort of. We're still in the prologue here, and
So these 2 giant countries are just corpses standing in the cloud sea.
they are now. That is correct.
Okay.
And the second one is the Makna, which, as it sounds, is a giant robot. So you've got this giant humanoid creature with a giant sword, and then this robot creature with a giant sword. Now, and then we jump forward in time after the explanation of where these 2 giants came from, sort of. We jump ahead to, I think 3 years before the story of Shulk. No, 1 year, that's my bad. 1 year before Shulk. At the Battle of Sword Valley. Yeah. Sword Valley is the sword of the Makna, the sword that is still embedded in the Bionis, just right there. It's big enough. It's just a big bridge between the 2. Shut up, demerit. I saw that.
I'm gonna come in your fucking face.
We're gonna have to cut that part. Anyway.
Is that 1 or 2 demerits?
No.
That'll be 2.
Okay.
Sexy.
How many until you get kicked out?
70.
Okay.
Swag. Okay.
Yeah!
Give someone 69 demerits right off the bat.
Hell yeah! He'll get there eventually. We need to like record the minute that he gets 6 to 69. He'll get there.
Keep an eye on it.
He'll get there. Anyway, so we start with the people of the Bionis, which are basically humans. They call themselves Homs.
Yeah.
H-O-M-S. Don't know why they didn't just stick with humans, but you know, whatever. So you've got the Homs.
That's French for humans, if you're curious.
I didn't know that.
Well, it's not spelled like that. I can correct this. It's not spelled like that.
Isn't it H-O-M-M-E-S?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even.
No, that's spells homies. Ignore that. So anyway,
Wait, August, is that right?
Is what right?
Holland's being French for humans?
Yes.
It's French for people, isn't it?
same difference.
No,
Well,
it's
it's a
French for man.
synonym.
Les hommes.
Oh, you're right.
Oh.
Venom.
So I guess these guys are French then.
same pen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh. We're literally like 5 minutes in. We've got half a page already. You're gonna need more paper. You're gonna need a shit ton more
I'm drawing a
paper.
picture.
Wait, are you taking notes?
Yeah.
Oh wow, you're really studious. I expected it.
Anyway, let's go. I haven't even started yet. So, we've got our main, we've got the main character of this little, is kind of like the tutorial, part of a tutorial. You've got Dunban, and he's using this sort of red one-sided blade called the Monado. It's basically a lightsaber, if you want to put it like that. We'll put a picture up, I'm sure.
Lightsaber of extra steps.
Yeah, lightsaber
And
with
metal.
extra
It has a
steps.
cool little sigil thing though. I like that. It
I
has
know,
a
the
great
sigil,
design.
we will get to the sigil.
Yeah.
A blade
Yeah.
is just a sword, right? It's not anything magic or special.
It is super magical and special.
We'll get there.
Well, but it's not like in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 where they're
It
literally
is
your
so
wife.
much more.
We'll get there.
It's not your
magical.
it's not your girlfriend in this game. Though, is it?
He can't
No!
Wait, we'll get to that.
What?
That's way later in here though. It's not his wife. It's not his wife.
Yes.
No, it's just one person who did this
Don't
this
ask me
time.
anything about this.
Anyway, so he's got the Monado, and he's and the Homs are fighting these robots, just little spider creatures, humanoid creatures, all sorts of creatures that just eat humans. Humans are clearly losing until Dunban shows up with the Monado. The Monado is the only thing that can really cut through these things, and he does so very well. A lot. He cuts through a lot of robots in what?
So I played the game.
No,
but I
yeah,
forgot.
go ahead.
How does Dunban find the Monado?
We don't know that yet. We just get him showing up with the Monado. We will get to that. That is a plot point though. Anyway, so alongside Dunban, you've got Dixon. He's this old guy with a sick-ass mustache, and he's got this sort of
Yes.
yes, mustache.
He's got the 40s dad look.
Oh, yeah.
His name has
With like
consequences
the
later.
Yeah. Anyway, so Dixon, he's got this gun blade. It's a generic fantasy gun blade,
It's from Final Fantasy V.
pretty much. And then you've got Mumkar. Mumkar is basically using Wolverine claws, and he's a huge bitch. He wants to run away from this, but Dunban says, "Nah, we're gonna fight this."
Wait,
So-
is he a huge bitch? Like he's a little bitch, or is he like a giant person?
No, he's just a little bitch.
Okay.
Wait, Mumkar's a little bit?
Monkar's an asshole.
Mumkar's the one that keeps.
I mean, I
trying to
know
run
he's an
away.
asshole. I
He's such
I
a bitch.
He
bitch
is.
and asshole are two different terms,
He's a
Paul.
bitch hole.
And yet,
He's a bitch hole.
he is introduced to us as a bitch. He wants to run away, but when Dixon and Dunban decide, "Nah, you're coming with us, and we're gonna fight this army of robots with 3 people," he's like, "Okay, I'll come." But when the other 2 go, he's like, "Okay, I'll let these 2 die, and then I'll pick up the Monado on the way out," because that's like the hero play here.
So for clarification, he's a ass-faced bitch.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Faced.
More like.
Love how much clarification we need on this, by the way.
Wait, did you just say that Dunban is the only one who survives the spider altercation?
I did not say that, no.
Okay.
No, I said that Mumkar wants those 2 to
That
die,
was
so that he can pick up the Monado after they're dead.
Oh, I see.
There's like a big fight going on a sword.
Yes,
Yeah.
on a giant sword.
Yeah.
And the robots want to take over their dead country body corpse, and the humans want to defend themselves, or humans
Yes, the
trying to
humans
take
are just
territory?
defending themselves.
Okay.
That's kind of revealed later, but it's pretty obvious that there's war going on right now. There's war.
So we don't know exactly what the history behind this war is. We just
Not
know
at
that it
all.
happened.
Not at all.
Okay.
Anyway, so we don't really get to see the fight itself. We just see the Monado start glowing very brightly. And when you're using Dunban, you get to see the first 2 Monado arts, Buster and Enchant. Buster, it makes it a literal lightsaber, a big lightsaber, like
Oh yeah.
very big as you need it, and you slash down and it does a whole bunch of damage to robots, because robots. And then Enchant, which allows other human-made any weapon to cut as if it has the edge of the Monado. So it allows ordinary weapons to cut through the Mechon.
Oh, like a gun blade.
Yeah, the gun blade. It allows it to shoot through Mechon and all that. Basically, Yeah.
Wait, what is it supposed to say? Minata. Oh!
I wrote Mito.
That's a better name.
This will be good for the shot. Nice.
We're not past the prologue yet.
I'm gonna be able to follow along later, so I have to understand
That's
the
true.
foundation.
That's only fine.
Give us a loading time. What percentage are we at right now?
Literally not at chapter 1.
Yeah, but like percentage. Are we at like 1% at least?
Anyway, I'll speed up. There are going to be parts that I'm basically just going to skip through.
Sure, Paul.
So 1 year later,
That's what you said last
1 year later, shut up. We get Shulk. Shulk is just a kid. He's just a kid. That's his whole thing.
Baby.
Sorry. He's a mechanic, and he's fishing through these dead mechon wreckages.
How old would you say he is?
I think he's 14.
Okay.
No, he's not.
He's a teenager.
He's like anime.
No, you keep talking all the time.
He's like
Okay.
anime team.
Anyway, yeah. So Shulk, he's rummaging through this mechon wreckage, and he's searching through parts. He knows the mechon pretty well. He can dismantle them and whatnot. And then he's attacked by a little crab. Just this, yeah,
Small enemy crab.
yeah, small enemy crab.
Not a crab. I said, ah!
Okay, I say small. It's
Yeah,
like fantasy small. It's like half his size.
Giant enemy crab.
Yeah.
Big ass crab.
We'll get to the big crabs.
Is this like an organic creature, or is this one of the mechon robot things?
This is an organic creature, and the crab is just using mechon parts.
Human
as
crab.
shell.
Oh, okay. That makes
It's
sense.
nothing special though. It's just a crab. So anyway, Ryan shows up. Ryan is just this big, kind of JoJo style teenager, except not quite as huge.
He's like Joseph, but
Yeah.
that is cool.
Yeah, let's go with that. Anyway, Ryan and Shulk together, they take care of this crab thing, no problem. They've got their weapons, which are literally labeled as junk weapons. So you've got Shulk, he's using this junk blade, which is just a big replacement for the Monado. Spoiler alert, he uses the Monado later on. He's
What?
the main
He's in
character.
Smash Brothers? Are you serious?
Yeah,
As well as Pyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
we'll get to Pyra.
My
Anyway, so, and Ryan is your generic fantasy tank character. He can soak up, he uses a giant shield.
He's also
with a spike.
stupid as fuck.
Yeah, he's pretty dumb.
So Ryan is like
Great
Shulk's
action.
best friend character kind of thing?
Yeah, he's definitely, he's the best friend.
Okay.
Demerit.
Oh, Jackson?
Yep.
Okay.
It was
No, it was
I didn't do anything.
it was me on. I did it.
I heard his token
Wait, that
slip
was
through his
Andrew,
chairs.
not Jackson.
Yeah, that wasn't Jackson.
Oh, okay. Well, he gets to keep it.
Yeah, fuck him.
I'm ready
Anyway.
again, okay?
So, we get Shulk and Ryan. They go back to town. I should pull my notes out.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So is
let's
this like one of the games that
Oh shit, he's 18. What the hell?
I just said I just opened the Wikipedia.
or like TF2 where it's just you can
I was like,
open it
there's
and
no way
kill
he's
people,
14.
or is it more like
I swear he never
like,
acts
follow the
18.
story?
More like half.
He never
More like
acts.
Half-Life.
Okay,
Also,
thank
even
you.
more that direction than Half-Life is.
Got it, okay.
Okay, yo, we're going. Anyway, so Shulk is told to us now that Shulk has been studying the Monado for 1 year. The Monado is technology that the Homs do not understand at all. It's the only thing that can defend against the Mechon, and Dunban is the only one that can use it. It pretty much kills anyone else that tries to use it. Electrical overload, something like that.
So how has this kid been studying it if he's just like a poor mechanic in the middle of nowhere?
He's in Colony 9, but he is... we'll get to that.
Okay.
He's
We're gonna get to a lot in this lecture, aren't we?
He's pretty smart, but that is not the reason why he wants to understand the
I feel like
Monados.
everything is. We'll get to that.
We're gonna get to a lot in this lecture,
We're
aren't we?
gonna get to a lot.
We're gonna get into a lot, aren't
Oh
we?
yeah, a lot.
Oh man.
Anyway,
Oh man.
so Dixon from the battle 1 year beforehand, he's been sort of overseeing. He pops into Colony 9 where they live every now and again. And he checks up on Shulk. He tells him, "Get your ass out of the lab. You need some fresh air, boy." So Shulk leaves the lab, and then we cut over to Dunban's house. A year after the battle, that he destroyed pretty much every Mechon they knew of. and ended the war. Supposedly, we all know that's a lie. Dunban lost the use of his right arm. It's a shriveled up little raisin. Kind of. It looks like a raisin color.
Wait, what? Hang on, what is?
Dunban's right arm.
Oh.
It was burnt out of beyond belief. He can't lift a spoon with it.
I think beef jerky might be an appropriate term.
Yeah, actually that's pretty.
I don't even remember his
Flat
arm
jerky
looking
hands.
like different.
Really?
Not that you can recall, but it's fine.
It's more apparent in the 3DS version. That's the one I played first.
Oh.
But yeah, the definitive edition isn't exactly the greatest thing ever.
No, that would be Earthbound for the virtual.
Shut the fuck up.
Demerit.
I'll take that one.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so we cut to Dunban's house, and he gets food brought up by his younger sister, Fiora, who is also an important character in this story.
Massive tits.
Actually not.
Not really,
Not
but
really,
I like
no.
to think so.
I'm gonna
Can we get Jackson the mayor for
He
that?
gets to.
You know what? Yeah.
Can't sexually harass the waifus, Jackson.
You can't
Did
say.
somebody hit him?
No, please God.
No, it's okay.
Anyway, so Dunban basically tells Fiora, yeah, go bring Shulk some food. He probably forgot to eat again. He does that a lot, apparently, stuck in the lab. He studies this Monado religiously. Anyway.
So he has access to the Monado in the lab. So he can look at the actual specimen, like he's allowed access to it.
Yeah, pretty much anyone can, really. It's on a military base that seems to have very little security. Shulk just walks into his lab whenever and studies the Monado freely.
Wait, is that against the law?
No,
Okay, cool.
It's sanctioned.
no, Shulk is...
I'm just surprised they let their like nuclear bomb out to the public to be studied.
Yeah, pretty much, that's what's happening.
But
Okay.
isn't there a thing that can make any blade cut like it?
Yeah, that's its own ability.
Busta!
Well,
And someone has to be using
No,
the
it
Monado
fucking-
to activate.
Okay.
yeah, and also I thought it like shriveled up your arm if you used it.
Yep.
So like a soul for a
Like
soul.
jerky?
Yeah.
Shulk has a massive cock, so he's different. And later you'll learn why.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, so Fiora
I love the
brings-
glares everybody gives Jackson.
Anyway, Fiora brings Shulk his lunch, and they're a ship. They've been a ship ever since they were young.
Wait, this is
Everyone
important.
ships them, huh?
Like
This is
he-
important. What do they eat?
A sandwich.
Yes!
Man, this is really good, Fiora. Better than usual.
Really healthy.
You know, please stop. Anyway,
Nothing like a home cooked meal, Fiora. We're never gonna get through this.
marry both of them.
This anti-communism.
Roland.
Yes.
Okay.
This is blue ball dream.
Anyway, okay, so Ryan, once Fiora and Shulk get back to the lab for reasons that don't matter at all, Ryan is there, and he touches the Monado. He picks it up even. He's a dumbass. The
Yeah.
Monado activates, and it's shown that people who pick up the Monado and activate it cannot control their bodies. Ryan goes on a complete killing spree and slashes up the entire lab. He almost kills Fiora, but it bounces off her. The Monado cannot cut people. It cannot fit, it just bounces off humans.
Wait, then what the fuck is the point of it?
You'll
Cutting
learn
machines.
later.
Okay, fine.
It can only cut machines.
Fuck!
What?
Oh!
You
Okay.
just said he went on a killing spree.
Yeah.
He didn't actually kill anyone.
He didn't kill
did
anyone.
No.
He didn't kill
Okay,
anyone.
good. I got worried for a second. My boy Ryan was going to be put in jail for voluntary manslaughter.
Oops.
No.
Real Mori moment.
Anyway, so Shulk gets upset about the machines being cut up, but not the fact that his childhood friend was almost killed. And Shulk's just
yeah.
like, this happens all the time.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, this bounces off people all the time, apparently.
That could have killed me.
Yeah. Another quote, and I'm gonna give you a demerit.
Well, I'm just here for background.
Give him 69 demerits.
I will do
Give me
that later.
69.
Anyway, so Ryan, he basically asks Shulk, hey, can you come up to this cave with me? We need more ether stuff for, the military equipment.
Wait,
because
what's
someone
ether
crashed-
stone?
Ether stuff, I said.
Oh.
And ether is just the power source,
Alright.
basically electricity.
Of the universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
So like mana, essentially.
Essentially, except a lot more extreme.
And
Everything
it's
is made up of
physical, too.
ether.
Ah, right.
Yeah. Everything is made up of ether.
Mhm.
And there's like pure ether crystals that you can pick up. Like if you're near a waterfall, you can find pure water
Oh,
crystals.
so like. No.
Yeah. Just think of it like
There's elemental
just the
ether.
power source of
Yeah.
this universe. Elemental crystals and all that. So it doesn't really matter how they get up there. They get up to the cave. They fight through some stuff. And as they're collecting the ether crystals, this defense mechanism activates from this ancient temple where all the crystals just happen to be laying there. That's why the colony was established at where it was, because it was so close to so much purified ether.
Does anyone know about this ancient temple, or do they stumble?
It's a total thing. Huh? Wait. No, they came up here specifically for this temple.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So they collect the crystals they need, and then the defense system activates. They destroy some weird-looking robots, not Mechon. They destroy those pretty easily. And then they're like, hey, what could have activated this defense system? We come up here all the time. And then the alarms start sounding from the colony. Yes, look to the skies. the Mechon are back. Despite supposedly being completely destroyed at the Battle of Sword Valley a year ago, the Mechon are raiding Colony 9. And they're eating people. A lot of people. They're eating everyone. Everyone is getting eaten.
Game made for kids.
Yes.
Not really, no.
Yeah, junior RPG isn't very accurate.
It's not. Okay. Well, anyway, so they run back to the colony. Game tip, you can just jump off the cliff instead. You'll land in water. It's Minecraft
Epic.
physics.
It's also Minecraft in that it's very sprawling. I remember hearing people talk about how cool it was that you could look to a mountain in the distance and actually go there.
It's fucking
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Massive.
It's pretty cool. Anyway, so you jump off the cliff, you get back to the colony, and Dunban's house is right on the edge of the colony. So Fiora goes his younger sister goes into the house to check on him, and Shulk and Ryan have to fight this one humanoid-looking Mechon.
And do we have any relation to Dunban except for the fact that he's our, continent's hero?
He's the continent's hero and the older brother of one of the main characters,
Oh, which
That's
main character is he the older
Fiora.
brother of? Okay.
which we established. Anyway,
For right now.
so they disable one of the Mechon, but they cannot completely destroy it. They just kind of make it reboot, I guess. Game mechanics. Anyway, Fiora comes out and he's like, okay, and Dunban's not in the house. She's freaking out. Okay, this sick guy with no right arm is gone. He's left the house and all three of them pretty much realize, oh, he's going after the Monado to do what he did a year ago. That's gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the military is basically being wasted because they had no idea this was coming. They didn't know that the Mechon were coming until they were right on top of them, which is a little too late. It gives us a few scenes of this large, very humanoid-looking Mechon with hands and a face and everything.
Is his face made of metal?
It is.
Does that by chance influence his namesake?
It doesn't at all. That's not why he's called Metal.
We'll get there.
Anyway, so this face Mechon, he's just he's wasting the military completely. Nothing they can do can even dent this thing. He's killed a lot of people, blown up a lot of towers, and the colony is completely defenseless. Fiora, Shulk, and Rhine, they all get close to the lab, and they're holding their own. They're not getting eaten by Mechon, and that's a good thing. And then once they get close to the lab, shut up.
Mikayla, demerit.
Yes, demerit yourself.
Fuck you, I'm not writing that down.
I'll write it
I
down.
can't argue.
Oh, wait, I got a question.
Go ahead.
This might be coming up later, but why do the machines need to eat?
You know what?
We'll get to that later.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, what do they gain by eating them?
They eat.
Okay.
Well, what do you gain by eating cows, huh?
Shit.
Are you a fucking vegan?
No.
Boy.
I guess it's
I literally just ate a pepperoni pizza in front of you.
This is a Xenoblade Chronicles lecture.
That's true.
I'm giving myself a gold
Anyway,
star.
so before they get to the lab, this watchtower that the face Mechon. You know what? I think the cameraman's priorities are a little skewed here.
He's biased.
Oh.
August, you're not a gold star.
Anyway, so they almost get to the lab, but this watchtower falls in front of the bridge to get to the lab, and they can't cross the bridge anymore. Oh no. So then Fiora splits off, because she's got the ether batteries, the ether crystals, and she's going to find this large machine that the reason they went up to get the ether crystals was to power this large machine, which is basically just a giant mech. And they're like, hey, we could use the mech to blow this thing out of the way and get to the lab. And that's a good idea, except Shulk and Rhine are now alone, fighting a lot of Mechon. And they almost get eaten. Quite a few times. But then Dunban shows up because he's Dunban.
It's Dunban over there.
Yeah. Dunban destroys a whole bunch of the Mechon, and he's like, yeah, let's go that way now. Let's go find Fiora and like get out of here safely. So they fight through a lot of Mechon, but it is not quite enough time for Dunban. He loses control of the Monado and falls, coughing up blood.
Yeah.
Thank you. Demerit.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Wow.
How many is he at right now?
1, 2.
Angie Pog.
Wait, how many?
8.
You gotta start making tally marks.
He's biased because I
I
started this on
forgot
his
that I
dad.
was doing
Okay,
that.
then
I
cross through the next.
Yeah, just next time across to
Gosh.
the next
Well,
one.
I'm already not doing
Okay, we're gonna
calendars.
ignore that. Anyway, so Dunban falls. He's like, I have to keep doing this, but then Ryan's like, no, you'll die if you touch that again. And he's right, he will. But then Shulk has a moment of revelation. He's like, I can use the Monado. He really shouldn't have ever had this thought. But for whatever reason, he picks up the Monado, and he starts doing really well with it. He can use it, apparently, without any pain whatsoever. In fact, he uses it farther than Dunban ever did. He can see visions of the future. Whenever he's in danger, he gets a vision of the immediate future, which he can then use to counteract their moves. So if he's going to get stabbed or slashed at from the left, he will know that. And basically the ultimate combat advantage. Pretty cool.
Unless you're in Smash.
Yes.
Then it's the worst move.
It is pretty crap in Smash.
It's bad.
Go Google it.
What ability is?
Shulk's vision.
Shulk's
Doesn't
down.
count.
Oh yeah, no, it's the worst counter in the game.
This is a Xenoblade Chronicles lecture.
It was gonna be an Earthbound list.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so the three of them start going nuts. They're making their way to Fiora in record times across this Mechon field until they get to the face Mechon, the same one that completely trashed the military. So they tried to destroy this Mechon, and it should be easy because the Monado cuts through robots really easily. They can't cut through this Mechon though. They keep bouncing off this guy. And he's being very smug about it. This face Mechon, he's like, nah.
It's like weird British Gilbert
Here
Gottfried.
too.
Anyway, so they can't destroy this Mechon, and that's a bit of an issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
kind of push it out.
Anyway, before it kills them all though, Fiora shows up in that giant mech we previously discussed. How she got there? We don't know. We don't know how she survived all the Mechon. Yeah, she ran really fast. She just outran these giant machines with legs twice the length of hers. Anyway, so she starts blowing these things up. She's doing damage. She even burns his face a little. But it's not enough. And Shulk sees a vision of her dying right before she does die. She dies. She gets stabbed by this thing.
Oh.
It's got like finger blades and all that, and it just
Man, that's so much more dramatic.
Huh?
If Fiora dies.
Well, yeah, it's a lot more sad than I just made it sound, huh?
I'll kill you.
Yeah. Anyway, so Shulk gets very upset, as one does when their friend dies in front of them.
Impossible.
Natural response.
And now my wife is gone.
So, Shulk gets upset, and he stabs the faced Mechon in the face. It would be more effective if it was human. But, yeah, it just sort of like sparks with electricity, and I guess it decides, yeah, that hurt. So, all the Mechon run away. Yeah, they run away, and now there are survivors in Colony 9. But not that many. A lot of people were eaten. So Shulk and Rhine, they decide to go on a revenge mission for Fiora. They're like, okay, well, our friend died, so what else is there to do except go get revenge on this faced Mechon? So they go, and they follow the same route that they took into the mountain, except now an emergency door has opened that leads to Colony 6, the other human settlement in the game. We literally don't know why there's Colony 9 and 6. We get no context for 1 through 5, or 7
69.
or 8. Oh shit! I hate you.
What?
Never mind.
Okay.
We're gonna ignore
Okay.
that. Damn it! That really just ruined my day.
We opened up a gate to Colony 6. Keep going, Paul.
Yeah. So they come into I skipped the cave. So there's this cave that they have to go through, and it's lit with a bunch of torches that ward off monsters, giant spiders and the like.
Like in Minecraft.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But they don't. It's
I
less
see
like
what
it does, keeps them away in Minecraft and all. Like they can't spawn there. It's a mechanic.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Anyway, so they're following.
Do you feel proud of yourself for flexing your Minecraft
And we're doing
knowledge?
the Xenoblade Chronicles lecture, Tyler! Demerit!
Anyway, so they're following this path, and they're taking turns falling asleep when they have to make camp for the night, because it's a long cave, you know?
What happens, Tyler?
I'm not Tyler.
What happens, Tyler?
Anyway, when Shulk falls asleep, he gets this weird dream of this man in mist talking to him. It's just a bunch of expositional bullshit that does not matter in the slightest, really. Yeah. So Shulk wakes up, and they keep going through this monster cave. They eventually find this spider pit with a bunch of spider eggs in it. And Ryan, being the dumbass he is, walks up to the spider eggs and he's like, "Oh hell, there are mechon parts in here. That doesn't make any sense." It does, and they never touch on that again.
Wait, why did you mention this whole cave?
Huh?
Why did you mention this entire
The
cave?
cave is important, not the mechon parts in the spider
Oh,
pits.
okay.
Anyway, so Ryan gets kidnapped. He gets snatched up by this web that comes from the ceiling, and by all means he should have been dead. But whatever. We skip to him running away from this army of spiders, tiny spiders that he could just step on, quite honestly. But you know, you're not gonna turn and start stepping on spiders when they're chasing you. So Shulk chases him. He gets a vision of this giant spider, and I mean giant spider.
Giant enemy spider.
Yes, giant enemy spider.
Just give me the
Demerit. Anyway, so Shulk sees Ryan getting stabbed through the chest with his giant spider pincer. And he's like, well, I should probably stop that.
Maybe.
But Ryan doesn't listen to him, and he doesn't run right into the spiders. No, he keeps running the one direction he has to run, despite Shulk telling him that's the wrong way. But what is the right way? There was no right way there. Shulk shows up right before he gets stabbed, and we get the third Monado art, Shield.
Why is it 2 on the list?
Because you start out, these are just the base things that he
Yeah, but you
does.
said it's the third.
Yeah, this is the third.
Well, why is it labeled number 2? On
Because
the
these are the first two and that's the same one.
Why is it labeled?
Roland, shut the fuck up!
I'm sorry, I'm just a little confused.
It's not that deep!
These are in order of which you get them.
Yes.
You can't point at a 2 and say number 3.
Yes, I can.
I mean, you literally can, but please don't.
3!
Oh!
Anyway, so...
You did such a fancy little like footprint. 3.
Anyway. Oh dear. Shut up. So, Shulk saves Ryan with the Monado shield. Basically makes anyone harder to kill. Gameplay wise, it doesn't really matter what it does. It's shield. Shield. It gives you a shield. So they don't die. They fight their way out of the spider cave. And Ryan's like, hey, that's pretty nifty. And yeah. So it's kind of just, it's set up here that there are going to be way more Monado arts, as you can see here. And Shulk just needs the right moment or the right incentive to activate said Monado arts. So.
Are they called arts in universe?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Arts is just a fancy word for someone using ether in a very specific way. Yeah. Anyway, so they come out to this big, large, grassy field, and it's a pretty field. It's actually got quite nice scenery. They go through, and there's a whole bunch of high-level monsters that'll kill you instantly if they see you. But they find this broken-down speeder bike thing. They call it a buggy. I don't really like that name, so I'm gonna avoid using it. Shulk touches the speeder, and its engine is shot. It's got smoke and everything. It was basically like the only dark-colored thing in this entire field. So that's the only reason they came to it. Shulk sees a vision of a little boy being chased down by Triceratops.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs, essentially. It's running in.
What other?
I'm not kidding.
Wait, they're just dinosaurs here?
They're just fucking dinosaurs.
There's robots and magic swords, but dinosaurs.
It's so jarring.
Dinosaurs.
It is jarring though, isn't it? Just a little bit?
We'll get to that.
I'm not concerned. Go ahead.
So this boy is about to get run down by these things, right? He's gonna get crushed.
In the
But-
vision.
Huh?
The boy in the vision.
Yes.
Okay.
The little boy. There's a little boy. So they go and they find this boy because Shulk saw water near them or something. I don't know. That's how you were supposed to find him. I just ran around until I found him. It took a while. It took longer than I'd care to admit.
Witty points?
No, I didn't listen to those. Anyway, so they fight these Triceratops. They kill them. The Monado works against literally everything but humans, apparently. So it can cut through dinosaurs, it can cut through spiders. I should have mentioned that a little earlier, but whatever.
Bombs are cool, bro.
Yeah. So, shit, where was I? There I was. Okay, so the little boy comes out. He's like, "Hey, my name is Juju."
On that beat.
I hate this name so much. You have no idea.
The power of Juju.
Yeah, so he's like, "Yeah, I'm from Colony 6. Let's take you to my camp." And that's not enough information. But anyway, he leaves you guys, giving you vague directions to the camp. You find the camp, and as soon as you do, this one woman comes up, and she smacks the crap out of Juju, and then gives him a hug. She was worried. This is his older sister, Charla. Yes, abuse. So she was super worried because Juju ran away to go go back to Colony 6, which was also attacked by Mekon. Except Colony 6 did not have the Monado with them or any main characters to save them.
So they're not at Colony 6 right now. We're like a camp out
Just
village.
a camp out.
Okay.
Like the refugees for after the Mekon attack.
Yeah, there are very few soldiers here. Charla is the only one with real combat.
What's like the population of this settlement?
It doesn't really tell us.
Small.
Okay.
And if we go by population, then Colony 9 only has like 7 people.
Yeah. I was gonna say Colony 6 had like the refugees. It was like less. It's like less than like 20.
Okay. So
Yes.
we're not like a small tribe. We're like 20 people.
It's like very.
That's just gameplay. That's like the people you can interact with.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are more people there or not,
Okay.
but I know there was a large-scale evacuation as soon as the Mekon were seen. That's really all we get. We don't get numbers. So Shulk is like, "Oh, well, we should help you take back Colony 6 because that could be where the faced Mekon is. The same Mekon we want to destroy." So you get a little context as to what happened here with Colony 6. But then, as soon as Charla starts to tell you, "Oh yeah, my boyfriend, he was in there. He died. He's still there." We don't really know what happened at Colony 6. So they're like, "Okay, well, maybe we should go there together later to find out what the hell happened." But before they can even go to sleep or anything, Juju runs away again because he's a...
That's my mom. It's okay.
Anyway, so Juju runs away, and Charla, being the older sister, is like, "Well, we need to go get that little crap." So Shulk and Ryan go with her, and they find the... Keep going, gotcha. So they find the speeder bike broken down again by the bridge. Juju's a really bad driver, apparently. They find it on this really long bridge. Shulk touches it again and gets a vision of Juju getting eaten by a Mekon. This tentacle Mekon. It's basically hentai.
No.
I love walking in on this.
You chose to walk out in the first
This
place.
is the exact moment where I quit the game. That's
Well, we'll get to... Yeah, I hated this fight
Yeah.
so much. hated all these fights, honestly. I was so underleveled. There was no casual mode! I played this before that existed.
So did I.
Well, I finished it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they start running, and Charlotte tells them, hey, there's only really one way that he could have gotten back to Colony 6 by, because this other way is way too deadly. It's got a whole bunch of dangerous, deadly monsters that no one could hope to compete with. So they go down the only way he could have gotten there, apparently. And, yeah, when they get to this really cool scene, actually, it's like, I don't really know what it's like, really. It's like a natural spiral up to, like, 3 different platforms. You're on the middle platform right now. There's one that goes down, and a spiral that goes up.
This will make sense to our online audience because we'll have pictures, but nobody here can picture this.
Yeah. So you see that Juju is being held by one of these tentacle things, and then you see like the main body of the Mechon. This thing is underground, so the tentacles can pop up wherever they want. Pretty nifty. So Charlotte runs forward, angry, and she's gonna get her brother back, you know? But then Shulk sees a vision of her dying, and that's no good. So we get the 4th Monado art. We get speed, and speed is exactly what it sounds like as well. It makes you go faster. It lets you dodge attacks.
Yeah. You know, I'm fine with the last one being like a non-Euclidean number, but I can't handle you saying one number and pointing at a different
Roland, I'm
one.
gonna crawl up your urethra and Ant-Man like it. Please shut up.
Please never say that again, Jackson.
Please give it.
Okay, so number 4 is
Jesus
speed.
Christ.
Hey,
Hi, Mama.
Hi.
you know.
Just sorry for interrupting.
No.
Do you want to
I
come
was
on?
going to say hi. Hear more about your urethra.
I forgot that other people lived here.
Hi, Mom.
All right. So 4 is
I
speed.
love it, Mom.
4 is speed.
That's my brain is. I'm already getting like.
Okay, well then 3 is speed. Does that make you feel better? 3 is speed.
It's less.
Do you want me to write the correct numbers on the other side of...
No, you don't need to.
No, torture me. Perfect
Just pointing
plenty.
at all the numbers and just say Xenoblade.
Okay.
Xenoblade.
So they destroyed this Mechon pretty easily, actually. The battle dragged you all the way to the top of the platform, so you've got a nice view. Charlotte and Juju, they're back. Charlotte smacks the crap out of Juju again because he's an idiot.
Fuck that bitch.
Yes. Demerit.
Who was
Anyway,
Jackson.
who do you think?
No.
Jesus Christ.
It's good to ask.
I'm gonna be silent for the rest of life.
So yeah, and after this, Charlotte basically, yeah. Charlotte believes that Shulk is having visions of the future now. She was skeptical at first, as people are when you tell them you can see the future. So yeah, and they're like, so Shulk and Rhine, they're like, well, this wasn't the Mechon we wanted. This doesn't have a face. And then this other Mechon shows up. This one has a face. It's not the same one though.
Is it metal face?
It's not Metal Face.
Oh.
It's a different one. It's got a hammer instead of finger.
Okay, that's.
Oh, yeah!
What
It's got
is
this
it? Does it
big
have a
ass-
name?
Is it King DDD?
No, it's not. Shit. It's basically King Dedede. It's got a large chest, basically, and it talks. This one talks. And it basically tells them your attempts are feeble and useless, and you can't beat me.
But like British.
Yeah.
British.
Evil British.
They're just British.
Oh yeah, everyone's British here, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
There's no Scottish, no.
Are they British in the?
flavors.
Do they have British accents in the Japanese version?
wait.
We don't. I don't know.
I don't know the
I
Japanese
don't think he
version.
knows. I don't think
Okay.
anyone knows.
No, but the voice actors are amazing. Anyway, what is it called, actually?
We don't know, Paul.
I don't know. Yeah, the Mechon.
Me when I Google.
Sure, you Google that
I
one.
got it.
Anyway, he's telling them, you can't beat me, but at the same time, he can't catch Shulk, because Shulk can see the future, so he can dodge his attacks, whereas his own attacks don't even dent this guy, or cut them in the least. eventually he hammer strikes the ground like Thor might, and almost blows them all off. He kidnaps Juju, and then says, yeah, I'm out of time. I guess I don't have enough battery life left in me. So he's got to go home and recharge at Colony 6 and tells them, we're going to be at Colony 6. Come get the boy. And everyone else that's apparently still alive.
Do we know why the robots want them to come to Colony 6 yet?
Not at all.
Okay. Are we ever going to know that?
Sort of.
Okay.
I guess. Anyway, so they go back to camp because Charla faints, and they really just need to get her, somewhere she won't die. So they bring her back to camp. Then when she wakes up, she's like, I'm going to Colony 6 to get everyone back. And Shulk and Ryan are like, we were gonna go to Colony 6 anyway, but we figured we'd wait for you to wake up because you're the only healer in the game. So, the three of them go to Colony 6, and they fight through a lot. They go in through the drainage system because it's got a large labyrinth of tunnels that Charla knows pretty well. So they avoid you fight Mekon through the cave, but you're supposed to avoid them. It's supposed to be a stealth mission. It's not a stealth mission. We all know how a stealth mission goes in these games. So they eventually get to a corridor, getting close to the colony, and they hear a gunshot. And they all start running towards it. Charla starts wondering whether or not that's her boyfriend or not. They get there, and it's this crusty old guy with no hair on his head, but a white beard. This small white beard.
Like the judge from Phoenix Wright.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know
Wait, are you
Phoenix Wright
serious?
is?
No, I've never played this attorney. This is a Xenoblade Chronicles lecture.
No, he has a point.
His name is
Jackson.
Metalface. Metalface is the guy with the hammer.
Really?
Yes. The other guy has a different name, I guess. But the one I know.
Wait,
because
I thought it was
of
the same guy.
No.
They're not. There's
No.
two different face Mekon.
No, I made a
That's
very
okay.
clear point. This one has a hammer. The other one, the metal.
Yeah, but I
face,
mean, like, they're machines. You just switch it out.
True.
they look very different.
Alright, I guess, but
It
like,
is. Wait,
Well,
I might
you'll
be
get
lying.
pictures
I might be
later.
lying, actually. I might be lying.
No, that one's not metal face.
Oh. His name. Okay, he gets it revealed later. Can I say it now? Because
Go ahead.
it's Zor.
Oh,
Zord,
That's
yeah.
his name.
But
yeah.
it's labeled as something else. Like
Yeah,
face
for like
Mekon or
it's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
With an X.
Oh right, it is with an X.
XORD. Zor.
Doesn't matter.
X or D.
Let's
Lord.
see. So they fight
Face.
through Colony 6. They beat the Mekon that this old crusty guy's shooting at, and he's basically his name is Atharon. I don't know how to say
It's a Thoron.
Atharon. And he's just constantly angry, I guess, because everyone else around him has died. He fainted in the middle of the battle, and when he woke up, no one else was there. He does have Charla's boyfriend's rifle, so we don't really know what happened there. Anyway, so they go through Colony 6, and they're all out to get revenge on this faced Mekon that killed everyone. Then they fight through it. You get this giant, this huge area, this huge spiral that you have to fight through to get to the bottom of Colony 6, essentially. Colony 6 is basically an ether mining area, or an ether mining colony. So it has a lot of ether, and at the very bottom of this cool machine thing that you have to fight your way down is an ether pool. You fall into the ether pool, you take damage until you die. It's like a poison pool. You can't jump into raw ether. I've done that a lot.
Dude, I love jumping into raw ether, dude.
I do too.
Man.
Just burns the skin right
Let's
off.
see if you can withstand an ether river.
Thank you, demerit. That's a spoiler.
What?
Fuck you.
Is it?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Oops. It didn't have context. It's fine.
Yeah. But anyway, they get there, and the face Mekon with the hammer, he's there, and he's like, hey, here's the child, but everyone else, we already ate. Guess we got hungry.
Oh, I love this scene because the way he says this is like, I didn't like them, so I gobbled them up.
That really is what it sounds
Yeah.
This is my favorite scene in the game.
I thought you didn't play to this point.
I've watched people. I've watched other people play it.
How far have you gotten?
I know. I know enough about the Xenoblade Chronicle. I know enough about this game to Like I did like an abbreviated version back in Flipnote days.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
So, anyway, they start fighting Zord. I'm pretty sure he tells them that he's got a name now, and that kind of throws them off. But it doesn't really matter when he tells them their name. They start fighting, and he starts summoning minions. Yep, he's that boss. He summons minions, and you have to defeat all but one of them, so he doesn't summon more. They can destroy the Mechon he summons really easily because they've got the Monado, but they can't destroy the rest of them because he's got a face. So yeah, eventually Othoron, he's been sneaking around the corner, I guess. I don't know when he left the party. I don't know why he left the party, but he did, and now he's just lurking in the shadows. He gets into another giant mech because this worked so well last time. He tries to push Zord into the Ether River below. You can't jump into Ether, I might have mentioned.
Yeah, you did.
Maybe.
I mean, you can. It's physically possible.
It
but
is,
It's not,
yes.
not a good
It's
idea.
not an ideal situation to be in. Anyway, so Athoron almost falls, but Shulk saves him because he can see the future. And Zord falls into the Ether River, and that's the end of that, right? Yeah, that's the end. So they go to an elevator to get out of Colony 6, but surprise, surprise, it's not the end. I fooled you all.
Oh, dude.
You got me.
Fast.
Wait, not the end of Colony 6?
Not the end of Colony 6.
Oh, gosh.
So Zord crawls up. He looks like a zombie, basically. His armor is pretty much melted, and he's a broken machine trying to do one last thing. But everything can hurt him now, not just the Monado. Monado no longer bounces off him. He eventually gets his arms and legs ripped off. And, yeah. Oh, I think it was now that he tells them his name is Zord.
Yeah, it is. When they're like,
And that kind of throws him off. They're like, hey, you have a name? That's weird. And then he gives some more exposition, but that doesn't matter. He falls down the elevator, and the elevator keeps moving up. There's a giant nuclear explosion, and they somehow don't get burnt at all. So they come out of the elevator, and they're out of the colony now. Just a road that leads somewhere. They wanted to get away from the explosion, as most people do. Then they get surrounded by a bunch of things that look just like Zord. A lot of face Mechon with hammer.
Giant ones?
Giant ones.
Okay.
Exactly like Zord. Yep.
Because they're robots, they can be reproduced very
Yep,
easily.
pretty much. So the Monado works against none of them, and then then the face Mechon that they were chasing the whole time, Metal Face, shows up. He's got the finger claws and everything, and now he's talking. He just wasn't very talkative that day, I guess.
Yeah.
So he's talking, and he's being very smug as usual. Nothing can hurt him, but then, when they're about to get killed, Dixon and Dunban show up. You know, the guy
Yo!
Yeah.
Where's Momcard?
Momcard died.
Oh.
Did I not say that?
You
I'm
didn't say
sorry.
that.
Oh!
What happened to Mumcon?
He ran away.
Dead.
And died.
Yeah, he ran away and got executed for his crimes.
Oh, cool.
Sweet. Gotta love that.
oh, you got killed by the Mechon.
No, he ran in the opposite direction of the
Yeah,
Mechon.
but then didn't like.
Remember, he's an ass-faced bitch.
No,
so he would have ran away.
Mechon like attacked him and killed him, like in the Battle of Sword Valley.
No, just red lights. Red lights from the corridor that lead right to the Homs.
Okay, I will let you. Okay. I'm looking.
I'll get to that eventually.
That's. Oh, okay.
Anyway, yeah, that wasn't a spoiler. Thanks, Demerit.
What the fuck happens in the fucking beginning of the game? Okay.
Sword Valley, they fight. That's all you need to know.
Yep. So anyway, Dixon and Dunban show up. Dunban is destroying Mechon with this long katana. Not as long as Sephiroth's blade, but whatever. I know, right? And Dixon is blowing shit up with his gunblade. That's pretty cool, but they still can't beat the face Mechon. And that's kind of an issue. So they're all about to die, because they can't defeat their enemy, yet their enemy can very easily kill them.
Are we gonna get a new art style?
No, we don't. We don't. No, what we get is a dragon.
Alright.
Wait, why would we get a new art style? What was that all about?
Because
Like
it's a challenging situation in which they would overcome it through, like,
The same
character
way they
growth
did these.
and heroism.
Emotion.
Hey, I just
Yeah.
remembered. I can
Manifested in probably the 5th art style purge.
I thought you meant like the art style of the game, not the novel. When you're describing that, I was thinking like it would go into like a dramatic sepia.
You better not cut that part.
You better not. He's not going to. Of course he's not.
Okay.
This man with the Wonder Bread pants isn't gonna cut anything.
Mary, shut up. Anyway, so we get a dragon instead. This dragon starts raining lightning down on these faced Mechon and blowing them up. It's a pretty powerful dragon.
Whose dragon is it?
We will see. What?
From Bionis or Mechonus? Do we even know?
It looks very Bionis-y.
Okay, because like I just need to know if it's organic or not.
It's not a robot dragon.
Okay, no
It looks
robot
kind
dragon,
of-
real dragon.
No, not a robot.
You would clarify if something was a robot dragon, would you?
Very much so.
Thank you.
Anyway, so we get this dragon blowing up these face Mechon, and that's pretty cool. The Mechon all have to run away, because this dragon is too much, and the dragon leaves Shulk and friends alone. And they're all confused as to what the heck just happened. But the dragon goes up, and we get this common, anime boy in the shadows, like, hey, good job, dragon, and then he pets the dragon. So it's a good guy's dragon. And then it cuts back to the party. And Dixon is telling them that was a Telethia. You don't really need to remember the name too much. It's not super... The name itself is not super important.
We'll get to that later.
Yes. Anyway, so they start... yes. Dixon and Dunban join the party. You cannot play as Dixon because he eventually leaves, but whatever. So they're joining story-wise. And Dunban, he can destroy the Mechon now because his blade, his katana, is made out of Mechon armor. So it's the same material, it can cut through Mechon. Makes sense. Yeah, and then, so they start going up. Oh, shit. Wait, I need one moment. Which, I need to know when something happened real quick. Oh, no, that's way in the future. That's my bad.
No, that's way in the future.
Shut the hell up. So anyway, yes, we get another expositional Mechon scene where we see that Shulk has burnt the armor of Metal Face. Where was it? Okay. Back to the fight. So they all get out. They get out of the Colony 6 and they get attacked. Dunban and Dixon join up again. And then, so when they do, they start fighting Mechon, and they can't destroy the faced ones. Thank you. She refuses to marry herself.
Keep talking, Paul.
We lost control of you a while ago, I just have to wait it out.
It's not my fault. You can't focus on putting my songs for your lecture.
Actually, it's your fault. You done? Okay. Anyway, so they get out. Shulk is getting angry because this is the machine that killed his waifu, and that kind of just sucks, So he climbs the thing. I guess he intends to stab it in the face again because that worked pretty well last time. He can't get to the face, so he settles for the shoulder. And tries to cut through it. And despite the Minato trying to bounce off it, he almost cuts halfway through it-ish, sort of. When he does, he gets a very extended vision of the very far future rather than the immediate future. These visions are very far and few between.
No.
Okay. Oh. Anyway, so he sees the gang on the top of the Black Tower, which is floating right above the Bionis' head. And he sees himself using the Minato and cutting through the Metal Face's arm with ease. Like any other Mechon. He sees it cutting right through. And then he sees someone else's face, another party member that we'll get to eventually. Thank you. So and then the dragon shows up, blows everything up. And yeah, and then they get along. So they start making their way to the Bionis' head. Obviously, they have to go up the Bionis. I'm pretty sure it's now that Dixon decides to tell them, well, instead, we could just go through the Bionis, because I guess that's faster when going up. So yeah, they go on the inside of the Bionis, because, you know, it's a giant thing. I guess they went through one of its like, sweat pores or something. I don't know, it's a giant cave. So yeah, they go in. Yes. We're not there yet. Oh, the jungle, that's my bad. So they get to the jungle first. It's the jungle they get to, I believe. Let me just make sure.
Is the jungle on the inside of the body?
No, it's on the outside.
The inside part is very, very short.
Small.
I don't-
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Until
basically
later.
just ride a geyser to the top of the Bionis.
Yeah.
No, so it's just like a cool cinematic cutscene kind of roller coaster mode.
It's not really a cutscene, but it is just a very short part.
Okay.
It basically sends you up 1,000 units in a couple seconds. One moment, this is not being helpful.
We'll just keep all of
Swamp
this
first.
waiting, reading the notes in.
Thank you. So they get to this icy wasteland, and they're going along, and they eventually find shelter, with a few side quests in between. You have to fight a dragon and all that, a fire dragon this time.
Whoa.
Yeah, but we never touch on that again. We melt some ice, and then you get into this old template.
Where are we now? Like what location?
Ice place.
Oh, is it that ice cave I've seen on Twitter? Like you
I think
jump
so.
and you die.
Where on the body are we?
We are... Where is it? I think we're near the chest area.
We're near the chest, we're trying to get to the head.
Yes, you're trying to get to the head. I don't know exactly where we are, though.
Now.
Does it have...
What are you doing?
There's a spider and Ed is
No. Let it chill. I will
No
step on
mercy.
you.
Blood for the blood count.
It's the good path and the bad path. I'm going genocide route.
Get your ass on the couch. Demerit.
I accept that.
Roland, you almost fucking destroyed this thing with your asshole. Why did I see?
Wow, you guys are really competing for first place, huh?
We are the Cub
Wait,
Lords.
so is it a giant body and they're at its chest? Does it
Yeah,
have
you're at
boobs?
Yeah.
It does not. It's a guy.
Does it have a dick?
Possibly. We never
It's-
get
it's
to that
a-
area.
Man, it's huge!
Wow. Wait, I'm looking at my right now. I'm looking at my
Demerit, 3 of them right now. Typing that in.
I didn't do anything.
Thank you for Jackson.
Okay. How many is he at?
I never wanted to hear Bionis
Jackson.
hentai in my life. Yet here we are!
Well,
Maybe you shouldn't have come here
Jackson's
so I could do
well.
mother
Let's
lecture.
go. Chaw.
Okay.
Roland's at
I guarantee you, you would have seen
8,
hentai.
Ed's at 2,
I'm at
Tyler's
2. What
at
did I
1.
do?
I don't know.
When did Tyler
And
We
me
don't
and August
listen.
took gold stars. So,
Those are both like. Well, she has 2 demerits and August has 0.
Okay,
So we're
anyway,
good.
let's go. Yeah, August is
Well, I don't have any.
hasn't been demerited. You just refuse to demerit.
no, I don't. Okay, look at the
No,
chart.
that's true
Look
because
at
I
the
kept
chart.
track as well.
Well, did you write it down?
This is a Xenoblade lecture, not a demerit lecture. You're all about to get one. Anyway, so Shulk's, so they're in this icy place. They find refuge in a temple to, like, you know, sleep through the blizzard. And Dixon is like, yeah, Shulk, you remember this place? Probably not. You were a very young child when you were here last. And this is where Shulk's parents died.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, this is where his parents died. It's where Dixon found him, and it's where the Monado was found. This was where the Monado was for as long as history can remember. For quite a while, until very soon before the Mekon Wars started. It doesn't really have a name, it's just the war between Bionis and Mekons. Yes.
What the heck was Shulk doing around the
His family was a part of an expedition.
Yeah.
Oh, and they had the Monado?
They didn't have the Monado, they
They
stumbled
were-
onto the temple,
Oh,
and
they
it killed them
found
all.
Yes.
Okay.
It killed them all, except for Shulk.
The
Okay.
temple killed them?
No, the Monado.
Wait, how?
But
Because if you pick up the Monado
It
and you're
kills
not
you.
still one,
SCP-451.
Oh,
that's why Dunban's arm is
Wait, so
erased.
that would imply one of Schultz's parents picked up the Monado, died, and then the other was like,
Well, no, because remember when Ryan
later.
No,
We'll get to this later.
No, remember when Ryan picked it up and swung it around?
yeah, did it kill Ryan?
He held it for like
Yeah.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
And he
And
lost
he could
complete
he
control of
almost
his
killed
body.
other people.
But he couldn't because.
The Monado
Monado
killed
can't
people.
harm humans or Homs.
Oh,
Yes.
What's going on
Can
here?
it,
Shush,
can it
let him
cut
continue.
Nubon though? We don't know if it can cut Nubon. It's never been tried.
My current theory is that the
How
Monado
would you want to?
isn't supposed to cut humans, and the way it determines that is it can't cut things with faces, and that's why it's struggling
We'll get to
with
that.
the Mechon.
That's a good theory.
I think the robots are
That
just
is-
trying to get
That's
any
a great
human
theory.
parts
A
in there.
fantastic one, if I say so.
And that's why they're eating humans.
Well, that's a different question than why the Monado can't cut metal face.
We will see. Wait, what?
Oh,
It
yeah.
can cut anything metal, essentially.
But
Yeah,
that's
but
not
it
the
can't
guy
cut
with
metal
the
face
Not
because he doesn't
faces.
face. At least that's the theory.
That's the theory. That's the prevailing theory.
That's what I thought.
Anyway, so that's just a nice
I
little
thought that's just
flashback
what
for
we
sure.
were doing.
They eventually get to the swamp, and Dixon's like, "Yeah, farewell. I'm gonna go, adventure elsewhere." So he does that. He goes away. Juju was still with them, huh? Yeah, Juju was with them, but he decides to go with Dixon back to Colony 6 to help rebuild the colony. So yeah, that was all pretty cool. And now, then they just have to get to the top of the Bionis now. There's a few cutscenes in between this part and the jungle, but they don't matter. Yeah, so they get past the swamp and they get to the jungle. Makna Forest, I think it's called. Anyway, so they get to the forest and there's this very long drawbridge that's not made by Homs. It was made by Nopon, which are basically just giant balls of fluff with wings that don't fly. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so they go along this. Very long bridge to get across this very wide river. And when they get to the bridge, there is a cutscene that is away from the party. It shows this one chick along with 4 other dudes. These dudes all have masks on. They're completely. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you. I needed that.
What did he do?
He just gave a face that basically. He assumed that they had all. It doesn't matter. They're fighting a dragon.
Doesn't matter. They're fighting a
That's
dragon.
Telethia, no less.
Yes, it's Telethia. A big 3-headed Telethia with giant wings, and it's very angry.
Oh, that's a Telethi Hydra.
Yeah, pretty much, I guess. Anyway, so the dudes all die. They're like, "Hey, no, you're the one we have to protect." And the girl's like, "No, we need to protect each other." But then they all die, except for the girl.
Oopsies.
The girl basically nuclear explodes right in this dragon's face. She's.
Do we know how she can do that?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Take a shot every time the fucking pulse says we'll get to that.
Well, if you guys didn't ask so many thought-provoking questions.
Yeah.
Xenoblade
Imagine
Chronicles.
paying attention and being interested.
Anyway, so she faints. Now she's just there, and the dragon runs away. The Telethia. I should really stop saying dragon. I just like the word dragon. So the Telethia flies away and doesn't eat her, despite having eaten the other 4.
Sexist.
Very. So the group finds her, and Shulk's like, "Hey, this is the girl from my vision 2 minutes ago." So yeah, and they're like, "Oh, she's got ether deficiency. There's no ether in the air."
Wait.
What?
Sorry, she's got ether deficiency.
That's a bad thing, right?
Very bad thing. She's dying.
We do though.
Up, she gets faint in the head. Sorry.
I feel like you're not sorry at all.
She shouldn't. Are we giving August a demerit?
I'll let it slide because she hasn't been rude the entire lecture.
No, that was important.
Yet.
You are a queen, ladies.
That's your only slide, mind you.
Okay.
Anyway.
One pass.
So, shush, everyone, shush. So yeah, Charla being the medic, she's like, "Okay, well, all we need is some ether crystals. There was this waterfall over there. Those pure crystals will do." So Shulk goes along on his own. I should mention there are T-Rexes in this forest.
Yeah.
Are there?
There are
Why?
T-Rex.
Isn't it robots?
T-Rex.
Okay, wait.
There's more than
We're on Bionis. We're on the organic,
Yeah, we're on Bionis still.
Okay.
not the
Sorry.
Necrons one.
So are they called T-Rexes in the game? Because I thought it would be.
Called, like,
We called something else, but they're T-Rexes.
They just have really weird names like undulating bio fuel.
Yeah. Collecting Sam.
There are also these smaller. There are also these little velociraptors whose heads just jump up and down with no neck. It's really weird, but they're a pain to deal with. The T-Rexes are in the level 90s. You're around level
You don't want to fuck with them.
40.
Yeah, don't mess with the undulating. Don't mess with collecting sand.
No, you want to mess with the velociraptors. They're your only
They've
full
only
source
so
of
many.
XP here. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, Shulk goes off by himself to the waterfall to get these pure ether crystals to bring this girl back to life. And that's pretty cool. I don't know why he goes off on his own. It's kind of a dumb move. But he gets to the waterfall, and he gets the crystals pretty easily. But then he gets attacked by Telethia. Smaller Telethia. Little human-sized Telethia. Wait, no. They're a bit bigger. What was that for?
Like maybe like
It's
this
a cute
corner.
animal face. I don't know.
She said they're little.
Shut.
Their size
Demerit,
is like
Jackson.
I've
Right now. One for each word that was just spoken.
Dang, this room's
How
filled with a
many?
bunch of jokers.
That was like 7.
I'm gonna put a
Seven,
sign up
okay.
in front of Tyler's house that says Paul is a penis. Mark 1.
Is that worth another demerit?
That is actually.
Alright.
It's 8 demerits.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Total is 8, 5, 10, 15, 20, 21 for Jackson.
Your eraser looks like SpongeBob.
This is a Xenoblade Chronicles lecture! Where is Tyler?
Square stares at everything fell to shit.
Who lives in a basement.
Please continue.
Anyway,
Oh,
okay. Oh, let's go.
Oh, yeah, no, never mind. It was-
Okay.
Alright, continue, please.
So these Telethia, they're a little bigger than humans. They've got big wings. And they start beating the crap out of Shulk. He can't see. He can see the future, but then they do something different. They can read his mind.
Whoa!
Right?
Oh yeah, because they're Telethia. Telepathy.
Oh my God.
Right.
That's so cool!
That's
We're not going over like any side quests or anything, right?
No.
Not even. Okay. There's a specific side quest I was thinking of that has actual lore embedded into it.
There
but it's-
are 2 I can think of that do,
Yeah.
but
It says
we're
like
not
cutscenes
going
and
to.
shit, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
My foot's asleep.
Thank you. Anyway.
Hologram.
What happens after this? Right, and then the same guy that the dragon went to, the Telethia went to earlier, the big one that blew up all the face mech on, he shows up. Shulk doesn't know who he is at all, and he basically tells Shulk, well, you can't beat them like you beat everything else. They're not machines. He basically just says you suck. And then he picks up the Monado and uses it with the 5th Monado.
Wait, the new guy?
Pershwa!
Wait, who uses Purge? The new guy? Or
The new
Shaw?
guy.
Oh,
The new guy picks up the Monado and uses it perfectly. I should add, if you've seen, most of you were here for the last Xenoblade, so I'm just going to say it right now. He's got a core crystal that looks like Mithras and Pyros.
Whoa!
He's an Aegis, basically.
Oh!
Yeah, I'll get him later.
He's also really fucking hot. He's sexy.
Shut up!
Silver.
Everyone says
I'm taking this lecture. I don't know about you,
But
Mikayla.
you played the 3DS version, so you wouldn't have known this. In the definitive edition, they changed the key to the core crystal, but they didn't really know what they were going to do with this series. So beforehand, they just had a key, and he was no one like this. Anyway.
Wait, Paul, did you play both editions of this game?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Of course you did.
We got New Game Plus on.
Oh, wait, I got a question. Okay.
What's up?
I don't know. So, what is the Xenoblade? I don't know. It's just kind of a weird question. I'm
Monado?
wondering.
The Xenoblade is literally just the name of the series.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
alright.
It has no canonical
There's
bearing.
no Xenoblade.
Yet.
Yeah, we might
we
get to
don't
that.
know.
It might be like Kingdom Hearts, where like we literally don't know what it is until KH3.
Yeah.
We haven't played Kingdom Hearts, so you
However, the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is the second adaptation of the game. because the Xenoblade Chronicles X technically exists, but it doesn't connect to either of them.
And then there's Xenogears.
Aside from like looks,
Oh,
you've got the same monsters,
Yeah.
so it's clearly in the same universe, but it has no connections yet. Anyway, so this guy's name is Elvis. He's got silver hair, you know, sort of like eyes that look like they're staring off into space all the time.
He's so hot.
Wait, what did you say his name was?
Albus.
Oh, I know this guy. Yeah.
Like
Albus.
Alvin and Jarvis mixed together. Albus.
Thank you.
He is.
So he uses the Monado as if he made the damn thing. So he uses it better than Shulk ever did. He kills a Telethia with the 5th Monado art.
It doesn't bother me anymore. You
Damn
can't do it to me
It's so
anymore.
entertaining. Anyway, so he basically used the Monado to stop their telepathic ability to read their mind, and just decapitates them. And then he tosses it to Shulk, and he's like, do exactly what I did, except better. And Shulk does it. So that happened.
It's like that scene in Zeppy World where he says, just do it.
Yep.
Dude, you've read Theppy World?
Whoa.
Have you read Theppy World? So
Stop shilling your comic.
read Hitmall.
Anyway, so when Shulk goes back to the party and he's like, hey, this other guy showed up and he could use the Monado, which supposedly no one can do. And they're all like, hey, you were dreaming, man. There's no way someone else can use the Monado. But that doesn't matter. They go and they revive this girl, and she's like, I have a mission. I've got to destroy this dragon Telethia thing. And only the Nopon will know where this dragon Telethia went. So they go to the, what's it called? They go to a big tree village over
The
there.
Nopon Village.
Is it just called the Nopon?
I don't know what it's canonically called, but
That's where the Nopon are. I remember this.
Yeah, pretty much, I guess. Oh, where is it? I need to know now.
And then you go there and the Goron theme starts playing.
Frontier Village.
No,
I thought the tree had a name.
No, that's just the like.
I swear the tree had a name.
Oh, okay.
Okay, everyone shush.
Painkiller has one.
Okay.
Former notes,
She's ignoring me.
current notes.
She's ignoring me.
They're ignoring you.
You could just give her 70 demerits and kick her out.
Okay, so the girl's name is Melia, and she's got this weird corset thing on. What?
Corset.
Weird corset thing on.
Yeah. and
Corsets are funny.
What? Why is that so funny?
We literally can't even get through a sentence.
Nope.
Fuck it.
Everyone shush. So they go to the Nopon village, and the Nopon chief, he's just this old fluff ball with a beard. He's just like, oh yes, it seems all your allies are dead. So take this one fluff ball Nopon, who is the hero of the village. His name is Ricky. Ricky's pretty funny. I like Ricky. What's so funny?
Yeah.
Hey, how old is Ricky, by the way?
Oh, he's like 40.
40 something.
Yeah. He's got a lot of children.
He looks like, you'd assume he's like a child, but he like has kids and a wife and shit. Like, literally.
He pays mortgage.
He's oldest. No, literally. Explain why he becomes the hero of the village. Like, the reason why. Do you remember why? Because he had to pay, like...
No, he became the hero of the village because he was the best fighter. He just
What?
happens to have a lot of debt.
Yeah, because the whole point why he wanted to become the hero was he was like, oh, they're going to get rid of my dad. And it's like, if he becomes it,
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well, actually. He's 40 years old. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
For your viewing pleasure, we have changed the seating arrangements. Okay, you can keep going, Paul.
Bullshit comments, please. Thank you, Mikayla.
It's gonna be hard.
Okay, anyway. So Ricky joins the party with Melia. And they all go to find this Telethia and kill it. Because that's Melia's mission. She was sent by someone. I don't think they get clarification yet as to who sent her. They find the Telethia regenerating. The explosion really hurt it, and now it's trying to regenerate by using natural ether crystals. It's basically just by a cliff. Mucus. Anyway, the Telethia is draining all the ether from the forest around it, so there's this dead patch of forest now. It is very dangerous to the ecosystem here, and it's gonna kill everything if they don't kill it now. So they start fighting this thing.
Do we have an option not to engage with this?
No.
Okay.
This is the story. This is the book. This is the story. So yeah, Shulk stops it from reading their minds, and they do heavy damage to it, but it regenerates as fast as they can damage it. Until Melia decides to ether blast this thing. She can use ether without the use of guns or swords or something. That's a pretty special ability that they didn't know she had. And that's how she was able to make the explosion as well.
Where did this ability come from?
It's just an innate thing. You're born with it or you're not. Sucks to suck if you're not.
How rare is this?
Very rare. None of the Homs really have it, I don't think.
Is that why she's an ether deficiency?
That's why she had ether deficiency, yes.
Augie's taking notes.
Anyway, so they kill the Telethia after that. And then Melia, yeah, she's like, okay, yeah, I'll take you to my home and you can meet the High Entia, which are basically humans plus plus. Yeah, High Entia, they've all got these huge head wings that sprout from the temples of their heads or something. I don't know why. It looks really weird and uncomfortable. But they've got giant bird wings.
Some of them don't.
Some of them don't, but those are... We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, eventually... So yeah, they get up to the...
No, you're good.
So they go through the Nakon Village and they take a magical shortcut to the top. Alright, so Melia goes to see her father, the Emperor of the High Entia, and she's immediately told, oh, these people were arrested upon entering the city. And Melia's like, hey, what the hell? I just said they wouldn't be arrested, pretty much, and they got arrested? What's this about? And then the Emperor, he's like, well, that one guy has this super neat sword that was prophesized to bring about the end of the High Entia. So, yeah, you'd expect...
Is this just exposition dumped on us right here?
Pretty much.
Okay.
You'd expect Melia to know this legend of the Monado because it's got a giant mural in the middle of her home, but she doesn't. So that's that. And it turns out that Alvis is the one responsible for their fates. He's the one that goes and interrogates them, and he's like, yeah, you're cool, you won't kill us all. Oh boy, did he regret that. Anyway, we can cut that out. So anyway, yeah. So they're waiting for. Then the group goes to see the Emperor, and he's like, "Well, see, I want to let you go to Prison Island, which is the Black Island they're trying to get to. But that would be kind of risky. It would kind of be risking, my entire species." And Shulk's like, "But I want revenge." And he's like, "Well, okay, I guess I can think about it."
And then he's like, oh man, and then he's like, ooh.
Yep. So yeah, they wait there for a while. They get told that Melia is half Homs and half High Entia. That's why she doesn't have the big bird wings, but she's got tiny bird wings. Anyway, guess what happens after this? They're just sort of chilling. Then Melia gives this giant speech, because she's the princess of the city, and she's like, hey, I'm going to be the new empress, and to prove I'm worth, being the empress despite being a half-breed, which is like some people are super racist against Homs, I guess, because they think the High Entia are above Homs, as every game needs.
I mean, it's only in their name.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are elves, essentially.
Yes, actually, that's a very good comparison. Sky elves.
Sky elves, yes.
I hate
The
elves.
wings are useless, by the way.
Elves
They can't fly.
suck.
They can't fly. None of them can fly.
Dwarves are superior.
Dwarves are superior.
We'll get
That's
to
what the
why.
Nilfgaard are, I guess. And the Nilfgaard are vastly superior. Anyway, what's up?
Oh, my hand's not up, I'm just stretching.
Put it down, bitch.
Sorry.
Anyway. What happens after this? So they're just chilling. Melia gives her speech, and she's like, I'm gonna go see the ancient memories of my ancestors to get their approval for becoming the Empress. And everyone's super behind. This is a city, right? Like, everyone's like, yeah, that makes sense. If you do that, we'll approve of you because, like, you know, the ancestors know best, I guess. So she goes into the tomb of her ancestors. And when she does this, Shulk and the party, they almost get assassinated. This is one of the most infuriating fights I had in the game. I have to go on this. Because the Monado cannot hurt these bitches.
Oh yeah, that's
The
true.
Monado does 1 damage to them every attack, and attacks are very slow.
That's rough.
So to clarify, it can't damage Hyantia either.
It cannot damage Hyantia either. Neither Homs nor Hyantia.
Faces.
Well, T-Rexes have faces.
We'll get to that later. Are they like humanoid faces on the high end here, or they're just?
Yeah, they're humans with wings on their heads.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Trash.
Apple said you could handle that.
No reason why they have wings. We'll
Oh
get to
shit,
that
they would
later.
have Apple ID fit. You saw this tech sword, huh? Apple developed the Monado cannon. Damn it, now I need to make a Monado like Apple or something. Anyway, so after you kill your would-be assassins, Shulk had literally just had the vision before they were trying to get before they were almost assassinated. He's like, hey, a Telethia is gonna eat Melia. That's no good. And it turns out that her going into the tomb was a trap. Someone that's very racist against Homs and doesn't want Melia to be Empress was the one that suggested she go into the tomb in the first place. Because this is like an ancient ritual. They haven't done this in generations, but now it's suddenly valid. So the Shulk and friends, they all go with Alvis, who had come to like help them with the assassins, but they were all dead before he got there. But then, yeah, so they go to the tomb, and Ryan, being the dumbass he is, decides to touch it. Decides to touch the high-tech door panel, and they all have to take the long way to get to Melia because he drops them in the floor now. It was really not great.
Booby trap.
A booby trap.
I want to touch the high-tech door panel.
Yeah, that was pretty much how it happened. And yeah, so we get a little insight. Alvis can apparently also see the future, much like Shulk,
But without the Monado?
but without the Monado.
Alvis is the one who made the Monado, right?
Wait, no.
Okay.
We'll get to that. There will be
Get to that
explanations.
later.
We will explain why he can see the future.
I actually
as well.
don't even know that.
He does not see them like Shulk does, though. He does not see them like just randomly. He has to prepare a ritual for them, and he can let other people see the future as well. That's why he's the high. What's his title? I don't know. The seer.
Yeah.
For the High
Yeah.
Entia. For the High Entia Emperor.
So essentially, he lets your other party members use that Monado ability.
No. You can't use him in the party.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's
He's
just
not
like some
really-
guy.
This is just a story thing.
He's like a neutral party to this whole event.
neutral. He's always.
He's above it all.
He's not neutral. He's definitely against the Mechon, but he doesn't like openly destroy them unless he sends his dragon to do that. I guess we don't really. No one really. It really never touches on his Telethia again, or why he said, "Good job, boy." Anyway, so they have to take the long way through the tomb, and they save Melia last second. We don't see who tried to assassinate Melia, but we do get to destroy that one Telethia that almost ate her soul. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Stop.
Can I see your notes? I want to see.
I will not acknowledge this demand.
That's kind of swag, actually.
Yeah.
You should write a whole
class
ass
is turning
story,
against
and
Paul.
I want that to be like the main antagonist.
Can you move your hand real quick?
She said
This all started because of this word right here.
She said MILF.
Hot.
She said,
You better be demeritating her.
I'm not. Don't demerit her. Please do not demerit her.
You can't demerit me.
I can and will!
If you misgender me, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Demerit them right now.
yeah.
I hate you. I don't know what she's writing, but she's definitely writing something not agreeable.
Wait, actually.
Anyway, let's keep. Are we going? Cool, go. So after the tomb incident, we get a flashback to 1 month earlier when Alvis shows the Emperor a vision of himself dying on top of the Black Tower. So that's why the Emperor has been kind of like, well, I don't really want to let you go onto the Black Tower. Kind of not good for me. Because he's gonna die if he opens the tower up to them. Knowing this full well, he's been like debating this for a month, rather than just the day that Shulk and the friends have gotten, and the party has gotten there. So stuff happens after that. It really doesn't matter, and they stay there for I think canonically a couple days while the Emperor thinks it over. They're in the high-tech city, so they're enjoying themselves.
What are you doing as a player during this time?
I think it just kind of cutscenes over it.
Okay.
You do some side quests to like, but they don't matter at all. You save some lifeguards from lizard men, and yeah. So yeah, that happens, and then the Mechon attack. Yeah, much like the colonies, the High Entia had not intervened in the colonies' attacks, despite knowing full well about them. Because they thought, well, you know, they're just Homs, they're just ants. We're not gonna, you know, intervene with that. Yeah.
Downvote.
Downvoted indeed.
Ratioed.
So anyway, yeah, the Mechons start attacking, and Shulk's like, oh shit, here we go again. So now the Monado's useful again.
Are there any face Mechon?
There is the face Mechon, yes, the metal face.
Only one of them.
There are a lot, much like Zord.
Okay.
There's also a new silver one. It's just kind of like, it looks more regal than the others, a lot more sleek, sort of, I guess.
Sexy.
Yeah. Sexy. And this one's also talking. It doesn't have as much of a face so much as a mask. Kinda, I mean, it's very humanoid, but it doesn't have eyes or a mouth. And it's talking, it's clearly female. And, you know, that's not really important, though. So,
I disagree, that's very important for some people.
Yeah, okay. Fair point.
She needs to decide whether or not you draw titties on it or not.
Just look at the... I'm actually not sure if the mech has tits. Like,
That would be a weird addition for a mech, wouldn't it?
No, it doesn't, because I haven't seen it on Twitter.
I love the level we've dragged Paul down to.
No, because everyone's like,
Paul, how much longer is this lecture gonna be?
but then no one's talking about this.
you guys keep making dumbass comments.
Okay, loading screen. What percentage are we at?
Screen, maybe... I don't want to say 50% yet.
Oh
But-
no.
Actually,
Paul, just go, come on.
Yeah, okay. Farther than you'd think. Anyway, so the Emperor is like, well, crap, now I do have to open the Black Tower because our defenses are failing. Their defenses can destroy Mechon, and it is definitely fighting the Mechon a lot better than the Homs ever did without the Monado, but they're losing. They're losing because the face Mechon are just, you know, they're face Mechon. They're super strong. So the Emperor goes by himself and opens the Black Tower, and it's called Prison Tower for a reason. It's holding a giant, like a literal,
Like one of the big giants from the beginning?
no, a lot smaller than that. Like,
Okay.
it's held on this own little island.
It can fit on the
Pretty big.
Bahamas.
He's like 15 feet tall?
Big. Bigger than Shulk?
A lot bigger than Shulk, yeah.
This island is near Bionis' head, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. No, this is on its head.
Okay.
Right above its head.
gotcha.
So, yeah. Anyway, so the giant is pretty much like, yep, okay, use the power in the island or whatever. I don't really care. He's just kind of chill about all this. So the island activates, and the Mechons start falling like friggin' flies to like moths into a flame. It's kind of funny. Lightning blast from the tower and almost destroys. It destroys the bulk of the Mechon forces. But Metalface has other plans. He decides, yeah, no, we're not going to vibe with this. And then it cuts back to the party. You get the side quests. I say side quests, like the main story quest to get to the tower. It's a huge pain. And then you have to fight your way up the tower. In way more time, the city should have fallen and burned by now. But whatever. They get to the top, and the giant's like, yes, I am Zanza, and I made the Monado. And that's pretty cool. So yeah, this dude made the Monado.
What's the other guy? Oh, go ahead, August.
Go ahead.
She was just, were you just gawking?
No, I was figuring out what a pride flag looked like.
What?
No,
This is super relevant to the lecture,
no,
people.
it's irrelevant. The polysexual pride flag.
Fuck yeah.
I didn't know which one had green in it.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Okay, so the other guy who's able to use Monado, who wasn't Shulk or
Or Dunban.
yeah, who's that?
Alvis.
Alvis. Do we know what Alvis's relation to Zanza is yet?
No.
Do we-
We'll get to We don't know anything about Alvis. He's just like that mysterious anime boy right now.
Is Alvis bear any physical resemblance to Sansa, or is he
Not
the
at
same?
all.
Okay.
No, Zanza is just this huge naked giant with long ass beard that covers everything.
Wait, how big is Xanza in comparison to everyone else?
He's kneeling and he's still 3 times taller than them, at least.
Fuck yeah. And so, anatomy lesson, your legs are about half your body, so that makes him 6 times taller.
Sure.
And is half of his body missing in a portal?
Not missing. No, I see what you're doing. No. He's chained to the ground.
Okay.
Keep in mind that this all happened before they ever knew that the Xenoblade Chronicles would go on to be a series. So,
Is it the same in like the definitive edition?
this is the definitive edition.
Oh, so he's not cut in half. No.
He's not cut in half. No, this is. But that was Klaus.
Yeah, that's a different character.
We'll get to
Spoilers
that
for
later.
the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 lecture.
Oh,
We'll get that to that.
I'm really sorry to distract. I was just curious.
No,
Keep
it was a
going.
good question,
So whole
and we will get to that later.
Alright, continue.
Anyway,
Who's made
so
this?
Zanza tells Shulk, well, yeah, the Monado wasn't meant to hit humans. That's why it doesn't work against the faced Mechon now. We don't really get any more context for that. And Zanza begins to unlock this shackle of the Monado, because now it'll be able to cut humans and hence the faced Mechon. What's up?
August had the better explanation than the game did.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. What was the explanation?
It was just
Like
designed to. It was just not designed for humans.
It just wasn't
That's
designed to cut humans.
lame.
It was
That's fucking
specifically like there's a safety on it so that it can't cut humans.
I gotta go see Dad get the.
Does turning this safety off give us another art style?
No.
It's
Okay.
not art style. It's Monado
Okay,
art.
I will
He's
get to
doing
that.
that.
Technically it does, but not
Art
gameplay.
Yeah, it gives you murder.
It gives you homicide.
Monado, die!
Shush! Yes, thank you. Okay, so Zanza starts unlocking the Monado. It starts glowing. However, right before it does, a spear is thrown by Metalface, and it stabs Zanza in the chest, impaling him to the ground, and it starts evaporating his body because poison is in the spear. Something like that. Doesn't really matter, but Shulk is like, shit, no, this won't work anymore. So then you have to fight Metalface without any enhancements. Kinda sucks, you can't hurt him. And then after a while of him beating your ass, it cuts to another cutscene, and Shulk's like, he just goes up to the dying body of Zanza, he's like, unlock it, quick, please, please, please. And then Zanza's like, no, it's already unlocked. You're just a bitch. So yeah, Shulk taps into his inner rage, I guess, and then it changes. And we do technically get a new symbol on the Monado. I looked it up a couple years ago because I was curious, and it means human. The symbol we get means human, so basically human slayer now.
Oh, so it's still.
There are Japanese characters that show up on the thing, and each one is different for each of the arts.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, we play Smash.
I didn't.
Oh,
well,
yeah, I'm sorry. I
Same for
wasn't.
people in the room.
I'm saying like okay, yeah.
I'll show you like pictures
Silly
later so that you
boys.
get it, but anyway, because the online will be able to see a bit more clearly. Anyway, where was yes, human. So he after that it's really easy to defeat Metalface. However, there is some positional bullshit where Metalface is like stabbing at Dunban, and Dunban's like, wow, these movements seem familiar. And that's it. But then you cut the arm off Metalface, he's like, well, shit, gotta retreat now.
Oh shit.
But Shulk wants to kill.
Can you watch camera for a second?
Yeah, but Shulk wants to kill this man, right? So he goes up to slash it, but then the silver one's like, no, don't do that, and flies in front of the blade. And then, so you cut off pretty much half of the silver one's chest. And then inside it, it's revealed there's a human inside.
Hey, who is this human?
Who is the human indeed?
Human inside a metal
I
face?
knew it! God.
No, not the human inside metal.
Oh, wait, no. who-
Silver one that we just got introduced.
Okay.
I
Silver
knew
one.
it.
Fiora's
Face
alive.
nemesis.
So now I know
Wait!
who Metal Face is.
I know who that
Figured
is.
it out.
Metal face
I
is.
big
Oh,
brained it.
okay.
He figured he
We'll get to
connected the
that.
dots.
It's
he already
literally
knew.
not that hard to figure out.
Yeah, I just had to like wait a second.
It was for me when I found out who.
I have no idea what anybody's talking about.
Okay,
Well,
so
the silver-faced Mechon, that's Fiora. Fiora's alive.
Okay.
A human was piloting the faced Mechon.
Yeah. But was Fiora doing it like consciously?
She is apparently very conscious, but she doesn't have any memories of Shulk, as is very apparent when Shulk says, "Hey, Fiora," and she's like, "The fuck are you?"
So they are being manipulated in some manner.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, what gave you that idea? Anyway, so yeah, then all the face Mechon fly away because Shulk has not unlocked the ability to fly yet. So, he never does. Kinda sucks, but, you know, he needs limits of some sort. He's not a god or anything. But
Shut the fuck up.
you'll get that later. Anyway, so yeah, then the Emperor gets stabbed. Well, actually, the Emperor got stabbed before the Monado woke up, but
He dead.
it's really not important. The Emperor dying doesn't have any effect on the story.
They're just really sad.
Yeah, then, so after all this dies down, the Mechon are all destroyed from the tower, blowing them all up, and then the face Mechon that remained, they all leave. So, like, there's peace restored. Not too many people died, honestly. The defense is held up pretty well. And then the Emperor's son, he's now the Emperor, like, waiting. He's just like the placeholder Emperor until Melia can become
Okay.
the Empress. He makes all the decisions now, and he's like, okay, we might have been being pompous asses. We'll help out the Homs now. And so they all, and the Napon agree, and
Is this like
Yeah.
Wakanda opening?
pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Because most Homs don't believe in the Hyantia. Like, Dixon was the only one that told the party, yeah, they're not a myth, they're real. Don't know why you guys think they're not real. Like, who wouldn't believe in humans with wings on their heads? Anyway, yeah, so now their concern is to get to the Makanas now. They want to find Fiora now.
I'm sorry, what was the point of originally getting to Beyonce's head?
To unlock the Monado so that they could kill the Metal Face. To get revenge.
And why do they think that to unlock it you need to get to the top of the head?
That's where his vision was.
Oh.
He saw the vision of him on the top of the head with a blade that could cut through the Monado.
Gotcha.
Through the face Mechon.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
And they just want to go on Mechonis to find out what's going on and shut down the robots again, because robots...
They want to
kill
find
people.
Fiora. They're
Okay.
very selfish. Okay, they are not fighting for the good of humanity. They want to find Fiora.
Gotcha.
He wants to find his waifu.
Okay.
Anywho, so the Hyantia, they take their ships, and he's like, yeah, we can take you to, like, close to the Hyantia, to the Mechonis' blade. No problem. So the ship does that, and then you've got to go through the frozen wasteland. Now, it's like a huge downhill. You can jump pretty much like halfway down it and take fall damage on a hill. It's pretty funny. I found it funny. But anyway, so once you get to the bottom of the hill, it's not that hard. The silver Mechon appears again. Fiora. Fiora opens it and she's like, who are you? Like, you clearly know this body. Like, what the heck? Who are you? But then before they can really have any conversation, the metal face appears and he jumps on the silver one and completely trashes it. Fiora almost dies again. And out pops Mumkar. He's alive. Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah, right?
I
That's why-
remember this specifically from my abridged thing that I did, and this is the only reason I knew about this.
I shit myself when my car got revealed.
Really? It
Yeah,
wasn't that hard to
I literally had no idea.
He
No
had
idea.
finger claws, it wasn't that hard.
I knew about Fiora. I knew about Fiora because of Smash told me, but I had no idea about one card.
Wait, what happened?
Mumkar is alive. You remember the bitch ass from the start?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's alive. He's a metal. He's Metal Face. He's the one that killed Fiora in the beginning and all.
That's why I was like, yeah, he got killed by the Mechon, and then Paul was like,
No, they just retrieved his corpse from
That's what I was gonna look up earlier. I swear to my fucking life.
Okay, it never shows who kills him, it's just a bunch of red dots.
I'm telling you.
I don't
They
think
show him attacking. I swear.
It doesn't.
TikTok, Paul.
TikTok. Anyway, so they have to fight Mumkar, and Dunban is ultimately the one that lands a fatal blow on him. It does not kill him, but you know, it's fatal. He's a machine though, so whatever. And he's just like, yeah, you can't handle the power of the Monado. And that's pretty cool. But then, yeah, it kinda sucks that happened. So now, like, everything should be fine, but then another face Mechon appears. This one's golden. Pretty sure it's called Golden Face or something. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So what happened? He's like, yes, I made all the face Mechon. I am Egil. I think he tells him his name now. Doesn't really matter. His name isn't important. Anyway, so he's like, yeah, I built the Mechon. I built the base Mechon to fight the Monado's power to destroy all Mechon. But now that that's kind of useless, these are basically just over-glorified Mechon. And that just kind of sucks for them. So he takes Fiora and Mumkar, and he goes back to the Mechonis. And so yeah, that's actually the last cutscene for quite a while. That really matters. Long story short, they get past the frozen wasteland, they go across Sword Valley, fight a bunch of Mechon. Dixon appears and he's like, hey, I made a bunch of Mechon weapons. Here, now you don't need to use Monado Enchant every fight.
For real.
Yeah, it was really annoying.
For real.
Spam risk. Oh, no, decline.
It's like, what?
Anyway, yeah, pretty unimportant stuff. Okay, so the next really important thing happens once they're well onto the Mechonis. They've gotten through quite a bit of it, and they're going up. They're going to like the head of the Mechonis for. They don't really have a set goal. They just want to find Fiora and stop this whole thing. Go ahead.
Are you skipping the fight with Mumkar?
Huh?
Don't they
I
fight?
literally just went over that.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how he died?
He didn't die.
He didn't die?
Not yet. Thank you.
He doesn't die. I'm just saying.
What's up?
It took him forever to get to top of Bionis. Does it take you as long in game to get to the top of Mechonis?
Not really. It's a machine, so you take a lot of elevators.
Yeah. you actually do.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that.
And it only took them so long because they kept sidetracked so many times.
The fucking elevator simulator.
Yeah. It really was. It was so annoying.
There's
it was
so
a
many
long time.
elevators.
Anyway, so they come into an open area and they're like, hey, there could be an ambush here. Everyone be ready. And then they get ambushed. By Mumkar. And Mumkar is like, oh, well now we've got all these face Mechon, and these are all people, you know. Like, they could be, like, someone you knew. Ooh.
Mumkar's still in the suit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Fiora is also still in the suit, right?
Yeah, but she's not here.
Alright.
Anyway, so yeah, they fight, and I guess they just trashed all the other faced Mechon without any regard for them being human. Because after the cutscene, like, it's just Mumkar and the party, like, they've killed everyone else. And then Shulk stops Dunban from killing Mumkar because I guess
He's different.
Yeah.
He's a main character.
Yeah, this guy who has committed genocide, apparently free of will, because like Mumkar remembers everything, not like Fiora. Like Mumkar's like, yeah, Dunban, I'm powerful now. Fuck you.
Do we know why?
We don't know why.
Do we ever know why?
The only reason I really specified at this point, was spite. Cause like that's all I really.
I'm pretty sure he was just mad that he couldn't wield Monado. He was just pissed.
That's pretty much his whole thing.
He was an asshole.
We will get to that later though. What?
When you were introducing these characters in the beginning and I was making notes about them, I said that this guy Mumkar was going to be the antagonist.
Yeah, pretty much. He's an antagonist, but he dies here.
I thought Metal Face was the antagonist.
So Shulk stops Dunban from slitting his throat, but then Mumkar gets upset because, hey, don't ignore me. Then he misses a shot from his main cannon, and he drops a giant spike on himself, and he dies. And I guess that's a fine way to end him, because Shulk does not feel bad about this after it all. Mumkar is never brought up again. So, yeah. And I'm pretty sure after that it's just... Yeah, after that it's pretty much just, you go and you find the golden Mechon named Egil, And he's like, hey, I'm gonna make you fight this silver mechon because apparently she's important to you. Fiora can no longer control her giant mech. Egil is completely controlling that part. And then there's a fight. And then Egil's like, nah, I don't want you using that blade. So he starts radiating this red energy, and the Monado shuts off. It can no longer cut. And that's kind of an issue for Shulk.
Wow.
You would just slap things with it, though.
You slap things with it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Pretty much.
Should have done that with the humans. Just
So there's an explosion, and everyone falls. Shulk falls, okay, so they're like on the upper parts of the Mechonis right now.
Yes.
They fall to their feet. They fall a long way. Lord knows how they survive.
The ocean, basically.
This cloud sea.
Yeah.
Cloud sea, which is just fluffy clouds. Like
Do these people have the conception of like up and down?
they do, yes.
yeah,
They
Okay.
fall down.
yeah, because there's like ground. I mean, not
Yeah.
ground, but like there's a
It
depth.
so happens that everywhere they walk is like the top of all
Like
these
it's just
features.
huge.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's just massive.
Anyway, so Fiora almost dies, but Shulk just gives her some water to drink, and that's pretty cool. But Fiora is back now. She remembers Shulk and everything, but it's just these two. Like, everyone else fell somewhere else. So Fiora is like, yeah, someone else was controlling my body, but she didn't seem evil or anything. I want to know what she wanted to do, and I want to help her. And Shulk's just like, well, she was using you like a giant puppet, but okay, I guess. And keep in mind, Fiora's mech has been trashed, so she's just a human-sized fighter now. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, then it just, basically you get a whole bunch of different points of view. You get to control different parts of the party for a while, and then you get to Makna
Is this the
Village.
first time in the game you can do that?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you can switch out the party as you like. Like, you can just have one person in your party if you so felt like. It's a dumb thing to do.
Like Dragon Age style.
Yeah, pretty much. But, okay, so they get to Makna Village. Makna are the equivalent of the Hyantia, in a sense. They're the beings of the Mechonis. They're humanoid, but they're completely machine.
Can the Monado kill them?
Very much so.
Okay.
It never really, like, shows that, though. Like, okay, sorry. The Monado cannot cut the blood of Zanza. Zanza is the one that basically created the Monado, and the one that fought the Mechonis before time, like at the start of the universe. You know, in the very beginning where Shulk is narrating it, and they both, the Bionis and Mechonis kill each other. Zanza is the one controlling the Bionis there.
Okay.
He was the one using the Monado from way back there.
Do we know anything more about his backstory?
No.
Okay.
It's a very big mystery. Like, no one really knows. But these Makna are freaking ancient. Like, these guys were there. when
Okay.
The Bionis and Mechonis were. Thank you, sir. Wait, no, I guess the Makna would be the equivalent of giants on the Bionis. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, so
Wait, quick refresher. Who are the Makna again?
the Makna are just humanoid robots.
Okay.
They're the people of the Mechonis. They were born of the Mechonis like the Hyantia giants.
All right, because we got a lot of mech
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, you're supposed to play this game for like 13 hours minimum. So, there's a lot of information to take in.
We'll have images to help the online viewers keep track of all this.
Yeah, but I also am having a hard time keeping track of this.
I know, it's hard.
Rolling into
Thank you.
Okay, shush.
Oh, that's very helpful. Thanks. Oh, that's very good. Thank you.
Anyway, so the Makna chief, he's just this fat caterpillar-looking thing. He's not humanoid at all. He's kind of like Jabba the Hutt, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of like a robot Jabba the Hutt. And he's like, yeah, Egil's my son. He's trying to kill the Bionis and everything it stands for. Kinda sucks, but I want you to kill my son now. And Shulk, who was like minutes away from easily just mindlessly killing Egil to get his waifu back, he was like, no, but that feels wrong now. Now that someone has asked me to do it, I see the error in that way. Yeah, it's not exactly telling.
Murder for anything other than selfish reasons is bad.
Exactly. So Shulk's like, yeah, I'll think about it. But then Fiora starts dying, just randomly. But then the Makna, one of the doctors there is like, oh crap, you're not a Makna, you're a Hans turned into a machine. That's not good for you. I'll like help you not die. So you do a side quest and you fix that. But Fiora is on a timer now, essentially, for story reasons. She's like, hey, you're gonna run out of battery eventually. You're gonna die. And Fiora's like, that's cool. But then doesn't tell Shulk because, reasons. This won't come up again, mind you. It's very unimportant.
Okay.
So, and then they start going back up the Mykonos, basically to just go confront Egil and stop all the killing. Oh, crap. Okay, it's not super important, but the Makna Village is on the arm of the Mykonos, which was cut off quite a long time ago. So it's just an arm, a decapitated arm.
Is it on, like, the surface of the water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the surface of the water, right below the Mykonos, so that's why they ended up there when they fell from the Mykonos.
Oh!
Yeah.
This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my bad.
And that's why they've been, like, uninterrupted surviving since the...
Yep, pretty much.
Okay.
They've just sort of been chilling down there. So, anyway, you take elevators back up the Mykonos. Yeah. I do need to watch that clip. That was actually way funnier the first time when I said that. So yeah, you go back up the Mykonos and you get like almost to the Mykonos city when suddenly a green-faced Mechon is suddenly there. And this one uses guns. A lot of guns. Way too many guns. It sucks.
Gun boss.
Gun boss.
Everyone black.
Anyway, so you have to run along this long corridor, keep finding cover. Shulk gets at least 15 visions here of them dying, like gameplay-wise. And you have to find cover before you're sniped out of existence. It's a very powerful shot. I hate it so much.
I mean, I imagine it's a one-hit kill.
I know what you're talking about.
You know that corridor. Yeah, eventually you get to the green Mechon and you start fighting it. And yeah, it is here. No, it's not here that it's revealed. But it's very strongly hinted at that this is Charla's boyfriend, who was supposedly killed by the Mechon in Colony 6.
Dilf.
Thank you! Thank you! Okay. Anyway. Yeah, so they're fighting. They're trying to run through this corridor and not get sniped out of existence. And then the guy runs away. The green-faced Mechon runs away. Before they can actually start fighting, I believe. I could be wrong, but it doesn't really matter. Because he gets away without any damage, and that's really all that matters. Yes. Yes, and then they get to the Makna Village, the Makna City. There's no more Makna here. They all evacuated to the Fallen Arm when the Bionis started attacking the Mykonos, and once we get through the city, we actually get exactly what happened right before the Bionis and Mykonos started fighting, which is pretty cool. We get to see that the Bionis is the aggressor here, not the Mykonos, which kind of goes against what the entire game has built up to, in some ways, but either way. So the Mykonos was not exactly the bad guys here. The Bionis started all of this. The Telethia started raiding the city, raining lightning down and all that strong
The
stuff.
Telethia existed before the two...
Oh yeah, the
creatures
Telethia are freaking ancient.
Okay. So I'm sure you said that, but I
They're
didn't...
Bionis born, but yeah, they existed before the fighting ever started. And the Telethia origins will get more context later. Anyway, we get that Zanza took up the Monado and using the Bionis as his vessel tried to blow up the Bionis. It was Mayneth that controlled the Mechonis to try and defend itself and all the Makna. The fight left them both very weak, and Mayneth had to go into very, very deep sleep. She was only very recently put into the body of Fiora with the help of one of the Makna doctors.
Okay.
So that's who was controlling Fiora, that's who really started.
So Zanza is on their team.
What do you mean?
He was also trying to stop Bionis all that time ago.
No, Santa was the one controlling the Bionis.
Okay, so Zanza was the aggressor.
Yeah, he was the aggressor.
So
Okay.
the Monado is made of evil.
Yes.
Evil!
Evil.
Evil!
Very
I don't want to make the joke, everyone does it, it's not me.
Anyway, so Schultz kind of starts to question, oh shit, should I be using this thing? And then everyone's like, it's not the blade that's evil, it's the user. And Schultz's like,
You just
okay,
have to separate the art from the artist.
sure.
It's gotta separate Oaxis from Bush
JD
Hartman.
really can't hurt you. It's okay.
Annie Hall isn't creepy at all.
Okay, we're done with that. Anyway, so you get that backstory with these holograms because the city is super advanced in technology despite being millions of years old. Well, potentially. We actually don't have a timeline. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, and then they leave that place, and then you get side quests to activate a teleportation thing that'll bring you straight to Egil so that you can, like, final boss end this crap. Before you get there, the green-faced Mechon shows up again, the one with guns, and it's like, nah, you're not getting past me, nope. But then you get past him. It's not really important, it's Gato. It's Charlotte's boyfriend. And, yeah, you snap him back to his senses, and he's like, yeah, sorry, I tried to kill you. And Charlotte's kind of like, oh, it's okay, I still love you.
All this is in a British accent.
Huh? Yeah. All of
So
it.
I tried to kill you.
What?
It's quite alright.
Anyway, so yeah, he's left very weak, very broken, and they go to fight Egil. And thank you.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
You're not sorry at all, do I say sorry? So yeah, they go and they, like, Egil's a Makna, and he's like, you cannot defeat me. The Monado is, like, not strong enough and all that. You're just a boy, you're just a Homs. I'm so above you, you're just ants. And then it turns out that Egil is sending the Mechon and the face Mechon to collect, like, to start eating Homs and all of the creatures of the Bionis, basically to use starvation tactics. He specifically says starvation tactics against the Bionis. What?
Keep going.
Yeah. So the Bionis is basically in a never-ending cycle of, hey, you're born, you grow, you die, and then you're buried and you become part of the Bionis again. It's just a never-ending cycle of collecting energy. Basically,
So you're just eating all the animals to fuck up the ecosystem?
Yes, that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing.
The American way.
So yeah, he would have so a lot of a lot of Homs did get eaten just for the energy, but for the most part, the Homs were only specifically collected for face Mechon, which was the only thing the Monado couldn't cut, and now it can, so they're useless. He doesn't really care about them anymore. But he's still got his, so you fight Egil without his golden mech, and he's just like, oh wow, I underestimated you guys. And then boss fight part 2, more annoying. Electric Boogaloo. Yes, that start. So then he summons his golden mech, and he's just like, nah, you didn't cut me deep enough the first time. So now you have to fight his mech, and then after that fight, you realize, or not you realize, Egil's like, yeah, I'm surprised you can still function with the Monado being, like, sabotaged and all that. Because, remember, the Monado was shut off quite a while ago, so he couldn't turn it on in their previous fight. But he just kind of got over that, and it didn't really bring it up again until now. Now, Egil mentions the Apocrypha Generator.
Why is Egil telling us this?
Huh?
Why is Egil telling us this?
Because he's dumb.
Okay.
What?
What's the Apocrypha Generator?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked!
Thank you,
The
welcome.
Apocrypha Generator is a pretty simple device, as Egil puts it. It just releases opposite ether waves to the Bionis, which shuts down the Monado. The Monado needs the ether waves from the Bionis to properly function.
So it's one of those, what is it called? Those things that turn off electronics? EMP? Yeah. Monado
Pretty much, yeah. So the Monado shouldn't be able to even function on the Mechonis, but Shulk has just kind of been raging through that.
He's been raging against the physics of how the machine works.
Yes.
He's raging against the
Keep in
machine.
mind, this goes way beyond just standard technology. A giant made this blade millions of years ago.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair.
Using his heart and soul.
He has two six-packs, one for each torso.
It's his collarbone, and then this is an entire torso. That's a set of legs, and then that's
What
a set
the
of legs.
Professor, they're passing notes in class.
And then it's doing a handstand.
This is Charlotte's boyfriend.
Thank you. I needed this.
And then mine's is lamer, but like it's just like a thumb with muscles.
It looks like, what are those cops in Doctor Who?
What do you mean, cops in Doctor Who?
The rhinoceros one?
Yeah.
Hold it up.
The oog?
Roland.
Yeah, no, not the Oog. The Oog are the tentacle guys. The, like...
Pass this over to them.
Okay, we're gonna continue on.
Yeah, please come
Very
here.
nice. Very nice. Thank you.
So fucking tight.
I should try that next time. I think he
Funny
fall.
shit I've ever seen.
That was primal.
Alright, Paul.
Better not cut that part. That was just such a high mentality response. Like you guys were so synced, you even messed it up, and you all messed it up in the exact same way. That was amazing. Anyway. Okay, so Egil gets away from that. He kind of lost the fight, he kind of didn't. He was just sort of like, oh, I underestimated you guys, but I won't do that again. Then he goes to turn on the entire Mechanis to blow up the Bionis.
Jeez.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fuck him.
Yeah, so Shulk's like, well, that's not very good. We need to turn off this generator thing. So they go back to the Makna Village. For whatever reason, they have time for this. The Makna Village, they're basically like, yeah, okay, we could take you to the top where the generator is, which will lead you right to Egil after that, because plot. So that's pretty cool. You go to the generator, you fight the generator, and this is where you get the sixth Monado art.
What do you mean you fight the generator?
It's just a machine with.
Okay.
It's just a floating ball, I think, that you fight. It's not that hard. You get Cyclone. Cyclone isn't really. It's never said in story, but you do see the new art. It really just has gameplay. It's just the brief. So it's kind of like Shulk has been fighting with 50-pound weights on both his ankles and wrists and his head, I guess. Something. He's been fighting really held back for like the entirety
So
of
this
the
is Rock Lee taking the weights off.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Rock Lee taking the weights off. So just turning on the Monado is now stronger than he ever was, just at full strength on the Bionis.
He's even more powerful.
Yes. So yeah, they're like, hey, that's pretty cool. But then there is a short cutscene before the final boss where Shulk kind of loses control of his body, kind of like anyone else holding the Monado.
The final boss.
He didn't even have,
The final boss.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that eventually. Don't we worry. We're gonna get to the end of this lecture.
Right?
Eventually. Anyway, so yeah, Shulk, he wasn't even using the Monado, it was just on his back, because, you know, he carries it like Cloud would his Cloud Buster, because it's about the same size. So he falls to the ground, starts spazzing out.
Oopsies.
For like a solid minute, and then he's like, no, I'm good, guys. And then they don't bring that up again. So, and then they get to the room where Egil is in. He made modifications to his golden mech. He's got a sword now, and he's hooked up right to the Mechanis. So now, yeah, the Mechanis is now, like, functioning. It is moving, and it is about to slash through the Bionis. Pretty cool. You actually get amazing visuals for this.
Yeah, you see a vision, and Shulk's all like, oh my god, they're gonna hit the Bionis, and the Bionis, the fucking Mechanis is like, wow.
But instead of looking at those, you get to see our brilliant visuals, which, to be honest, you know.
Or like 10 times better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting
We
a
have
good
an
end
expert
here.
special effects team working day in and day out on these visuals.
For
I think you
realsies.
mean sleeping day and
I did paint that one.
Anyway.
And these PNGs take like 2 whole minutes to export,
Focus!
drag in.
Aren't we supposed to be learning about a video game?
Thank you. only reasonable one in here.
Yeah!
Anyway, so in the game, you actually get a vision of what the Mechonis is about to do. It's a slash that literally does infinity damage.
Oh yeah, yeah, it does.
You have a full, 99 seconds, which is the max of the timer that you can have. And it is unavoidable. And the vision is the Mechonis slashing straight through the Bionis. And basically game over. Not basically. It's game over if that happens. So you have to defeat him before that.
Wait.
What?
Did I lose? Did we have to defeat the Mechonis? Did I lose you somewhere?
You have to defeat Egil, who's he raises his right arm, the
He
Mechonis
didn't.
raises his
He
right
did
arm.
not.
He did.
He did not.
So yeah, you're fighting the Mechonis. I was super disappointed with this.
That's what I do.
Honestly.
What the fuck?
They were doing the Macarena for anyone that didn't see. They were basically.
I definitely saw.
Jackson, did you feel though?
Yes.
Paul,
Continue.
continue.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep watching that. Anyway, so you defeat Egil, and he's just like, well, and Shulk, being the main character he is, and someone told him to kill this guy, so obviously he can't just kill him. That's not right.
Jesus Christ.
So he's just like, no, I can't kill you. I'm just gonna stop you every time you try to commit genocide.
Oh yeah.
Despite the fact that Egil has easily killed a couple thousand at this point with just 2 minutes of his time, Shulk is basically just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. You're too important to the plot. It actually.
So we got to the final boss fight that everything's been leading up to so far, and then Shulk says, "I'm just not going to kill you. We'll do this again."
Yeah, that's basically what Shulk says. And Egil's like, maybe you are different than the last one to use the Monado. And then Fiora, who's controlled by Mayneth right now, they kind of it's like split personalities right now with Fiora. Her eyes glow red when it's Mayneth though, so.
Okay.
So it's pretty easy to tell. So Egil's like, yeah, Lady Mayneth, maybe you were right all along. And then Shulk gets shot in the back. So Shulk is killed. Shulk literally just dies.
Dude,
right there.
Is this Sonic Boom?
Yes,
Yeah,
I actually never played that. I don't know what that is.
Because Sonic dies at the very beginning of the, and then it does
Well,
3
this is
weeks
the middle of the plot.
Yeah, cool.
Well, not really the middle, I promise.
So Shulk dies, right?
Shulk dies. He falls to the ground, and Egil's like, well, that's unfortunate. It's really sad, but it was Dixon. Dixon shot him with his gunblade.
Now his name makes sense.
Dixon, yeah?
The Mason-Dixon line, right, guys?
Yeah.
Let's go with that. Anyway, Dixon's like, nah, you shouldn't have done that. You should have just killed him, man. And,
Honestly, I'm with Dixon here.
Murder is ethical.
Who was Dixon again?
Huh? Dixon is the old guy with the chill mustache and the gunblade.
Hey, could you ask that question again?
Who is he associated with?
Dunban. He was the guy that fought with Dunban at the beginning.
Oh, Dunban's friend, the one who wasn't a coward.
And he's been helping out throughout the story.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So he's been like, what did y'all say?
I asked Tyler to ask that question again.
Okay. Anyway. Thank you. Anyway, so Dixon's like, nah, you shouldn't have done that. You should have just killed him when you had the chance. That would have made this so much easier, man. But then Egil's like, I know who you are. You were Zanza's pupil, or disciple, whatever you want to call it. Dixon was a giant, like way back when, but now he's just
small.
Hom's size. Yeah.
Shrink?
Why?
Shrinkage.
He's just been chilling and waiting for the Bionis to revive ever since it got shut down.
Like over time or all at once?
Bone loss.
All at once. It's like illusion, magic sort of thing.
Okay.
Polymorph, something like that. We never really get an
If you want to
explanation.
learn more about polymorphs, check out the Red Dwarf lecture.
Trademark.
Anyway, so Dixon's like, nah, you're not all gonna stop me. I'm gonna start monologuing.
Yes!
Yeah. So he starts monologuing about how all of this was set up by Zanza, And like everyone's like, Zanza's alive? We saw him get stabbed and he evaporated though.
We're getting to the end when there's 5 key figures we keep talking about.
Yeah.
Like Zanza, Egil. Yeah.
Yeah, but then Shulk's body starts spazzing out again. And then It stands up,
Wonderful.
sort of. It gets
Oh, yeah.
like floating, like there's a string attached to it, and then it falls back down. But this time, a spirit pops out of it. It's Zanza, except he's a human. He's not or not human. He's like some holy ghost thing.
He's humanoid. He's humanoid.
Humanoid with like golden armor and floaty circle things, and he's using the Monado, which now has. It looks very different. I'll show you all pictures later. The online community will get it. So basically, he turned the Monado into like its true form or whatever, and he turns on the Bionis and starts like, "Hey, I'm gonna destroy the Mechonis." And Egil's like, "Well, we can't have that." So he turns on the Mechonis again, because apparently he's not done. And he starts like fighting with the Bionis, but you know, he was just mortally injured, so it's not going too well. And then Mayneth pops out of Fiora, kind of exactly like Zanza just did to Shulk. So it's two spirits fighting. Mayneth is using her own Monado. Yeah, so Zanza
Are
and
these
Mayneth,
physical Monados or are they like
they're
spirit?
physical Monados.
Where do they come from?
They come from Zanza and Mayneth, essentially. It's not fully explained yet, but Zanza and Mayneth are gods. They were worshipped by the Giants and the Makna, respectively. Mayneth was the goddess of the Mechonis, and Zanza the god of the Bionis. That's why they can control them so easily.
Okay.
The Bionis is Zanza's body, and the Mechonis Mayneth's. That's why they have...
Oh, they're like the soul of
Yeah,
those things'
They are
bodies.
literally the souls of those things.
Okay.
Yeah, so Zanza and Mayneth start fighting. Zanza is clearly stronger for whatever reason, though. Despite the Bionis having been siphoned out of a lot of its strength over the past few years, Zanza is just way stronger in every way, shape, and form, and kills Mayneth. So Mayneth dies.
Does that mean the Mechonis is...
The Mechonis doesn't have a soul anymore, and Egil can still control it, but very manually.
Okay.
Like with puppet strings, sort of. So yeah, Egil starts fighting Zanza with the Mechonis' body. He tries to destroy the Bionis once and for all. Doesn't work, obviously. Zanza actually picks up Mayneth's Monado. So now he has two Monados. Kind of an issue. We'll get to why that's an issue later on. Yeah. So what happens after this? Yes.
Does Shulk still have a Monado?
No, Zanza took it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, Zanza. Yeah, whatever. So basically during the monologue, Dixon's like, yeah, there was no one named Shulk to begin with. It was all just Zanza controlling Shulk like a puppet.
Yeah.
Dead Shulk or alive Shulk?
Alive Shulk. Shulk is dead now, though.
Does that make the player Zanza?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Pretty much until this point, yeah.
Dude, all this time, we were the bad guy.
Wake up.
So, but okay, but I don't know if it's gonna be a spoiler or not.
Go ahead.
Does Shulk, when was it done? It was Dixon, right? Did Dixon find Shulk at the temple or whatever?
Dixon found him.
Okay, wasn't he dead there?
He was dead. Yes. Good. Thank you for bringing that up. It does go back to this. The reason Shulk's family and the rest of the expedition in that ice temple all died was not because they picked it up one after the other.
I'll wait.
All right, let's hear it.
No, the Monado the Monado is Zanza.
Yeah.
So Zanza basically found this expedition team, and he was like, I don't like being sealed away, so I'm gonna kill everyone here. So it does just that. The Monado basically just sucks out their souls. Dixon eventually found the expedition, and Dixon was Zanza's disciple, remember? So Dixon basically set up Shulk to be the host for Zanza. That's why Shulk was so obsessed with the Monado innately.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was obsessed with himself, sort of.
What about Alvis?
We will get to Elvis.
We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. Anyway, so the party escapes from the Mechonis before the Bionis blows up the Mechonis. So Mechonis is completely obliterated now.
And we don't know why we're attacking the Mechonis yet.
Samsus just doesn't like the Mechonis.
Did we ever get an explanation on that?
Kind of.
Okay.
At like the very end.
The very end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where we get a lot of backstory.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they escape. and they're basically, where are they? Yeah, they're on the ship that took them to the top of the Mechanis to fight Egil, and on the way, they are attacked by a bunch of Telethia. Telethia are just Bionis-controlled beings, so the Telethia are fighting for Zanza now. And Zanza is kind of all-powerful because he has both Monados, so you kind of have an issue now. And Shulk is still kind of dead, remember. His body is still technically alive, but he has no brain activity.
So what does our party consist of right now?
Fiora, Sharla, Rhine, Dunban, Melia, and Ricky.
Okay.
Everyone except Shulk.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I realize I haven't been very clear on party members, but it doesn't really matter. A lot of the party members feel very left out, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Melia, Ricky, even like Dunban a little less so, but Sharla, they all have their moments.
Shulk and Fiora are literally the only people who are important at this point.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, they get to it cuts to the ship. They're kind of recovering, licking their wounds from this battle. Shulk is alive, but he has no brain activity again. The Makna are keeping him alive, and they even made him a replacement, like, Monado-style sword. So it's like a lightsaber, but it doesn't, like, it's not a Monado. It's just a lightsaber.
Does this have a special name?
Replica Monado.
Yeah, that's literally what it's called.
Okay.
And then Fiora, she, the Makna doctor sees her, and she's like, okay, well, Mayneth was the only battery keeping you alive, so you're running on her fumes now. And Fiora's like, yeah, I'm gonna die soon. And that's fine, because we're all gonna die soon.
Yeah.
Because there's only one place they can go, and that is the body of their enemy. So anyway, they go... Yeah, so they're trying to get back to the Bionis. They get to Colony 6 on the ship that they're on, and they lay low there for, I think, a few hours maybe.
In the ruins of Colony 6.
It was never really obliterated. The people were just eaten.
Okay.
That's really all that happened. So the buildings are still there.
So abandoned colonies.
Yeah, well, the...
And what are you
refugees-
doing as a player when they're laying low?
Oh, you're just, that's just like Fiora and Melia talking a little. And
Okay.
Melia figures out, oh, you're dying, that's pretty cool. Oh, also, Melia is like crushing hard on Shulk right now.
Oh
so
yeah, that's true.
If Fiora dies, that's her competition out of the way.
No, it's...
Just saying. Anyway, so after that, they get attacked by Dixon, who's riding a giant Telethia. Oh crap, I missed a part, sorry. My bad. Okay, so as they're flying to Colony 6, the High Entia with these new airplane not airplanes, but like new hovercraft cannon things, they all stop them. And they're like, hey, what happened over there? Why is the Mechanis gone? And they're obviously confused because, you know, shit has happened. And then the same person that tried to kill Melia earlier in the tomb, if you recall that, is like, yes, I'm very evil and I'm working for Lord Zanza. And then all the High Entia are like, we've got all this high-tech weaponry against you. You better stand down, bitch. You're just by yourself. And she's like, no, you all are under my control. And then all the High Entia turn into Telethia. Yeah, it's actually, like...
You haven't explained why that happens.
Well, no, I didn't explain it yet, because it happens here.
Yeah.
It's kind of
He's
gross.
about to explain it, leave him alone.
It's kind of a gross process, but they all turn into giant, flesh-eating Telethia. And the woman that tried to kill Melia earlier, she's like, oh yes, well, High Entia, you see, they're just Telethia waiting to be awakened by Zanza, to purge the Bionis of any and all life that might try to oppose him. And then the Bionis resets. And that's just what's been happening for millions of years. Never-ending cycle. That's the way Zanza wants it, that's the way he wants to keep it. So the Telethia wake up again. Yeah, so it's kind of like if humans turned back into gorillas to purge the world of anything else.
Hell yeah.
Dude, return to monkey, I'm saying.
Return to monkey. Yes, that's actually what happens to Telethia, huh?
Yeah, that's fun
I love it.
games.
Oh my
Stop.
god, making a meme of that later. Okay. So basically, they get attacked by all these Telethia. Sorry. So yeah, they get attacked by the Telethia. They almost don't make it to Colony 6, but Melia's older brother, who is turning into a Telethia as we speak, is like, suicide bomb! And he sacrifices himself to let the rest of them get away. He would have turned into a Telethia anyway, so it was probably for the best that he just kamikazed that shit. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But they get to Colony 6, Shulk's still dead, and then they get attacked by Dixon and his army of Telethia. These Telethia are pretty big now, so there's not really much hope. They can't really do anything. And then Shulk wakes up. He doesn't immediately wake up. Obviously, there was buffer time. While in that time, he was kind of just floating through imaginary space. Kind of a lot of, like an asteroid field or something.
Yeah,
where
like
someone talks.
space.
Yeah, space and
Space type
asteroids. Where someone is talking to him. Okay, it's pretty obvious, so I'm just gonna. It's Alvis. Alvis is telling Shulk basically, you want to wake up? Just wake up. Go help your friends.
How is Elvis doing this?
We will get to that.
Okay.
We will get to that at the very end, okay? That will come at the very end. Anyway, so Shulk wakes up, he takes this replica Monado that was right by his bed, and he starts trashing all these Telethia really, really easily. Way easier than he should be able to. He can see the future without the Monado now. He doesn't know why, no one knows why. He shouldn't be able to because the Monado was the only thing allowing him to see through that.
Okay.
But you know, whatever works. So he fights all these Telethia, and he like single-handedly pushes away this army with Dixon there as well. So yeah, he's not stronger. The Monado was definitely a bulk of his strength, but seeing the future is just such an advantage that he pushes away a small army on his own. Not on his own, but you get the point.
Yeah.
So
Shulk even more of a badass now.
yeah, kind of like an anime character after a time skip. So, like technically he is weaker, but
Probably very fun to play at this point.
oh, it's actually really obnoxious.
Yeah.
I hate fighting these Telethia so much.
They're fucking annoying.
They're so
Jesus
annoying.
Christ.
So yeah, they start going up the Bionis, and he's like, I'm gonna find Zanza. I'm gonna stuff this sword into his face. And you know, a sword to the face is a sword to the face. I don't care if you're a god. That's basically his line of logic now. So they get up pretty high in the Bionis pretty quickly. They get to the heart of the Bionis, which is this giant chamber with a whole bunch of ether pumping through it. I hate this fight so much. But you have to fight the same lady that tried to kill Melia earlier.
Worst fight in the game.
I hate this so much. I literally put the game down for 4 months because of this fight. I hated it so much. Oh, I had to use the crappiest strat.
This is hard-earned knowledge.
This sucks so much. She is so tanky, and she
Bullshit.
summons these stupid nebulae.
Because half the shit that you fight, like
It's suicide
don't
bombs.
take any fucking damage.
They don't take any physical damage.
Yeah.
So you can't use Shulk.
At all.
Which is like the bulk of avoiding any visions you get.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get a vision, you use a Monado art to stop it, to dodge it, to block it, to like turn off the ability, to knock them over. Also, you can use so many things, but you can't use Shulk here. You have, like, it almost specifically makes you use Melia.
Yeah.
Even over level, this fight is completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like New Game Plus, this was still the hardest fight. Not even the final boss.
Yeah, literally.
Which, like most Kirby games or RPG games, is God. So that'll give you an idea. Anyway, so Lorithia, that's her name. Haven't really said it because it doesn't matter. She's using Melia's older brother, who survived the explosion, but he's a Telethia under her control now. You fight this, and after many, many hours of fighting and dying, you eventually get lucky enough where you get it low enough. And then after you get it to that point, Melia's older brother, his name is Callian, also doesn't matter because they both die here. Not Melia. I should clear that out.
Callian what?
Callian and Lorithia.
Who are they?
They were Lorithia is the one that keeps trying to kill Melia because she's racist as fuck.
Okay.
Alright.
And Callian is Melia's older brother, who was like the
Aw.
standby emperor.
But didn't he suicide bomb anyways, but survive somehow?
Yeah, he survived.
Okay.
Telethias regenerate ridiculously
So
quickly.
he's dying for the second time.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so this time, Callian basically, like, his will is still within that Telethia's mind, I guess. That was kind of their logic. So after fighting enough of Melia, and Melia, you know, anime, talk no jutsu, and all that, Callian's like, oh, I'm up now, time to die. I'm taking you with me, bitch. So Lorithia dies in the explosion, and then they just continue to go up. They get to the head of the Bionis. Shit, I'm dumb. I'm sorry.
You forgot another part?
I forgot another part quite a ways back.
Demerit to the professor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mikayla, write it down.
I got it. I'm already doing it!
Anyway, after you fight Dixon's Telethia, back at Colony 6, I missed quite a bit, it's actually revealed that Alvis is working for Zanza as well.
Okay.
His Telethia from the beginning, that blew up all the face Mechon, you
Yeah.
have to fight that after Dixon's, and you kill that, and then they run away.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do
So-
we know anything more about the relationship between Alvis and Zanza yet?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
All we know is that Dixon, Alvis, and Lorithia are the trinity of Zanza. So now you've killed Lorithia, one of the trinity.
Do they, as a trinity, are they emblems of Zanza?
Zanza just decided, oh, you want power? Okay, work.
Oh, they're just like his disciples.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have,
Okay.
Killing them literally means nothing to Zanza.
Gotcha.
So you go back to Prison Island, because that is where, I guess, instincts, I don't know, that's where Zanza is. Damn, I need water.
Drink.
How dare you?
Okay, well this is actually
Do you want
going
any chips,
much more on
August?
schedule than the second one did.
August, do you want any chips?
Maybe.
That's a lot better. Okay. Anyway,
Tyler, can I have some?
My love.
so anyway, what we get after that is the climb to Prison Island. This one actually goes a lot smoother than the last one because I'm pretty sure you have a magic, like, you just have a teleporter to the top basically.
Where did that come from?
Just activated because the Bionis is fully awake now.
Oh,
There's no
okay.
story plot. It's just like, hey, you've suffered enough. We're approaching the end game now, so we gave you an easy way up. You still have to fight your way through some shit, but not too much. Anyway, so you fight your way through, and then you find Dixon at the top, and he turns into his giant form because you know he's a giant. He's like a lot taller than y'all now, and he's got a big gun blade. Turns out he didn't make shit. That was just given to him by Zanza quite a while ago. It doesn't really say that, but it's clearly just a weapon that was given to him. So yeah, that's actually not that hard of a fight. He does a lot of damage, but he can't take shit.
He just does
Okay.
power lecture his house.
See, that wouldn't even narrow it
We're
down to
rolling.
which JRPG it would be, though. Like, they all end up fighting.
We're rolling.
Okay. So yeah, after that cutscene, you kill Dixon again, and then the cutscene shows up. Shulk basically just jumps up and slashes him across the chest. Dixon turns back into his Homs form, and he's just with the slash still across his chest, and he's like, nah, I don't feel like dying for this. Go fight Zanza, I don't care. Thank you.
Ignore me, just please.
Okay. Anyway, so Dixon goes and he sits down and he starts smoking, you know, as he does. He smokes a lot.
Smoking what?
Just a cigar. A cigar.
Wait, pulls out face.
Smoking a sick lunch.
Yeah.
I brought my vape.
So, so then you take another magical
Fat
teleporter.
clouds.
The
That's where
entire
clouds
party
came
leaves
from.
and then Dixon dies. Like, it was kind of like, his wounds were too severe.
Oh, he dies off screen?
Yeah.
Like cool guy
Well,
death?
not
Does he?
off screen. It's on screen, but the
But he's
target
like
is
cool
gone.
guy death.
Yeah, cool guy, yeah. He was like a chill guy. He just wanted like to be all powerful. That's really all. He didn't really care.
So
But you know,
He's
Shulk
like, I'm
grew,
going to Ruby.
like
So
Shulk grew on him. He actually did care for Shulk a little, like a little more than
And that was
the.
about it.
That's that's why he shot him in the back.
That's what
Yeah. So then. You actually get these amazing visuals for a Wii game. This started as a Wii
Oh
game.
yeah,
by
this
the way.
was a
Yeah, this
Yeah.
looks like World of Warcraft when it came out. It was
Yeah,
actually really
nobody
impressive.
knew about
It was really great. You get a lot of these visuals for the final maps are just they still stand.
Are
in
they
my opinion.
pre-rendered on the Wii or
I have no idea.
like in engine? Oh.
What are you?
Jackson, what you doing, buddy?
So the refrigerator's really cold and it's really hot. Just please ignore me.
Okay.
The fridge is not cold.
Do you want an ice pack?
Well, we
or an ice cube?
So
Oh yeah, that's a good.
Okay, I'm okay now.
anyway, so you go through these really easy boss fights. They're just literal ghosts of all the bosses you fought: Metal Face,
Boss
Gadara,
rush.
Zord, and just a whole bunch of those. I think you fight a couple Teletia as well, but that doesn't matter. They're super easy. And eventually you get to Zamza. We'll put a picture up.
You trying to remember who that is?
No, I just think
Okay.
it's a funny name.
Anyway, you get to Zamza, and Zamza's this sort of half machine, half organic creature now, with giant wings on both ends. It actually looks really cool.
How do you become organic?
Huh? He was always organic. It's the machine that added it.
Oh wait, was it like a person in the machine?
Huh? No, Zamza. Who do
I'm
you think
talking about Zord, right?
Oh, Zord, yeah. He was just a phased mechon, which means he was a Hom inside a machine.
Oh, okay.
Except he was just.
Do we know which one?
No.
Okay.
Just
Is that gonna ever come up?
No.
Okay, it's just
No.
some guy.
Yeah, just some guy who happened to have a stronger will than the others, I guess. Because, like, you know, there are some. I do like that they did that. They don't. He didn't really matter to the plot. He didn't know the main characters in any way. He was just some guy with a strong will.
Come on, a main character, someone's mom, give us something.
Could have been Shulk's dad. You never know.
No, this is Last Jedi rules.
Thank you for that. I hate those movies with a fucking passion.
Imagine making a whole trilogy with no plan.
Literally no one was surprised. Anyway, this is Xenoblade Chronicles lecture. Okay. Huh, okay. So, you find... Oh, actually, no, he's not. He's just this sort of white, organic thing with blade feet, sort of. They kind of look like half-crescent blade feet.
I thought you were gonna say croissant.
Oh, it's like the bombers from Kirby, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so he's holding both Minato, both Mayneth's and his own, and he's just like, I can see the future and no one else can. But then, yeah. As we know, Shulk can see the future right now, so that's not exactly true. We saw a cutscene like a couple scenes earlier, it doesn't really matter when, but it was basically Zamza getting upset at himself for not being able to see past a certain point. He sees his fight with Shulk and the party, but he cannot see past that point. He doesn't know what happens after that.
Oh,
kinda
it gives you
ticks him
hope
off.
that you'll win the boss fight.
It just really ticks him off because he's like, I have both Minato. No one else can see the future, therefore no one else can affect the future. Why the hell can't I see this? See past that. So yeah, that kind of just annoyed him. But then he's got his, smug god sort of attitude when you see him again. He's like, no one else can see the future. Only I can see the future. And you're gonna die.
But if we kill Zamza, wouldn't that, turn off Bionis?
We'll get to that.
Wouldn't killing Zamza,
there
right?
are consequences to killing God, yes.
We'll get to that.
Why exactly do we need to do this?
Because otherwise everyone will die regardless.
Okay.
Like he's going on a genocide spree of everything but himself.
Oh, because he's resetting the...
He's resetting everything.
Got right, okay.
Now that Mayneth's out of the equation, nothing can stop him.
Why is he resetting everything?
Well, he wants everything in a cycle of rebirth and
Hey,
What's so bad about that?
Genesis
Why
made-
can't...
Whenever the species on the planet gets too close to overthrowing him, he's like, alright, time for a reset.
Well, if he's God, he kind of made them, so if he wants to just kill them all,
Okay.
Yeah, but
Hey,
would you
watch
just
the good
lay
place.
down and die?
What the fuck am I gonna do?
Hey, Mikayla, have you watched The Good Place?
Shush, we're so close. We're so
Okay, I'm
close.
sorry.
We're so close. So anyway, you beat. He's got these two little angel creature things that he summons. And they start using Minato arts that are not on this list. Actually don't know what they are exactly. But they, you cannot use them. And I'll get to these eventually, but they're not really.
Is there a reason the number's weirdly scratched out?
Because you can get them at any point in the game.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
really?
Wait, so just tell us.
I'll get to that after I finish this.
He'll get to that.
Because I thought that was the super secret final one.
The super secret final one isn't on this list.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
Yep.
It's just like a.
It doesn't even have a name.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's just
okay, we're
written
right there. We're right there.
Eldritch letters upside.
Anyway, so you fight this boss of Zanza, and then you get boss fight 2.0, where he actually evolves into a machine organic hybrid. This one's absolutely freaking massive. He's got his tiny humanoid body in the center with his arms and everything, but they're not holding the blades. You've got these two giant, definitely JoJo style arms on the outside.
Like anchor arms from SpongeBob?
Yeah.
Heck
pretty
yeah.
much. They're just absolutely massive, and they're holding these two giant ass blades now, the Monados. I feel like I should clarify. The Monado changes size for the wielder, so if you put it in the hand of the Bionis, it turns into a giant blade.
What the?
Huh?
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really
It's
matter.
like Star.
So wait, what if you're on the Bionis' hand and you just drop the blade on accident?
I guess we're glad that Shulk didn't do that. Anyway,
I guess he could just grab it again.
No, because it'd be too big to pick up at that
Well,
point.
he could like put his hand a little bit under it, maybe.
I mean, yeah, you just
That
put your
might-
hands on it.
it's
and
more
boom.
like the will of the wielder.
Yeah.
rather- like
So Bionis has no will, so it's just like I don't know.
Yeah, it was kind of off because Shulk was the Bion. Was
What if his
Zanza.
fault? What if he drops it and like an ant touches it and then he can never find it again?
Suck a guess. But is it
What if an ant died that way by picking up like the god's blade?
You just see like the wolves.
I want to play the Xenoblade game from the perspective of the ants.
There's so many
They would
alternate
die.
timelines.
Anything that touches the Monado and that isn't Zanza just dies.
But what if the ant just has a lot of willpower and the power of friendship?
Oh, okay.
Wait, but then if
Yeah,
you're
that would work.
tiny
What
and
if he
then
was
people
Shulk? What if
step
the
on it?
ant-
We're close. I don't know why it's taking so long. Stop. Anyway, what happens after this? Right, so he evolves into this next super god form. And yet he still can't kill Shulk. Shulk can see the future, and this kind of annoys him, as you might expect, when you're God and you can't kill your own creation that you were using as a puppet for 18 years. Kind of sucks. So yeah, Shulk is just kind of like, I don't care if I can see how I see the future. All I care is that I can see the future, and I'm gonna change your future.
Does he have a line where he basically says that?
Pretty much, yeah. It's much more dramatic than I can make. So, you know, it's got music behind it. That's the only reason. That is the only reason. Anyway, and then Fior chimes in, and she's like, okay, well, everything that's alive can make its own choice. You should be aware of this. This is literally the rule that governs your own life. And he's like, no, I'm a god. You can't make me do anything. But then they kill him, essentially. So eventually Shulk, it gets to a point where I think you actually have to, might just be halfway. Doesn't matter how far you have to kill Zanza, but you have to beat him with the replica Monado, which stats just suck, by the way. It is super stupid to use this thing. But eventually you do defeat Zanza. And thought process, okay. So it cuts to a cutscene. And Alvis's voice starts chiming over the fight, and he's like, no, okay, well let's see who wins this. God versus Shulk. So Alvis, I guess to even the playing field, makes Shulk God.
Oh, that's cool.
Pretty much.
I'd like that.
He pretty much makes it God. He
fucking-
gives Shulk a new Monado. So now there are 3 Monado. That's what this one is labeled as Shulk's Monado. It's really
The
Alvis's
Shulk
Monado.
Monado.
Yes. Well, in game it's labeled as Monado 3, but
And we don't know where exactly these Monados came from, right?
not yet.
Okay.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay, let's go.
So Shulk uses a new Monado art that is exclusive to this Monado. That I don't know. It looks something like that. I don't know. That was just scribbles,
Nice. Tyler.
but that's just scribbles. Anyway, the symbol I later looked up means God. So much like when the other Monado had the human symbol and became a human slayer, this one is now a God slayer. So what's up?
What kind of god? Are we talking like capital G monotheistic
No.
god or
Lowercase
lowercase
g.
g?
A god. Not
Yeah,
the
a
god, but a god.
Like
Like
Like a
Greek
deity.
nature god. Yeah, like a deity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of
Okay.
like if Zeus was the only god. and
Okay.
controlled the ocean, the sea, and the underworld or something.
I love Anana Ishtar.
Zoroastrianism. There we go. Continue.
No.
Please continue.
Well,
please
actually,
continue.
it's based on.
Please continue. Please continue.
This is important. Sort of. It's actually based on monadism. This whole game was basically based around a religion.
Oh,
in
that's very
one
cool.
sense.
What's monadism?
I don't know exactly. I didn't go too deep into it.
It's like fucking Christianity.
But it's basically as the Elvis has a line. He identifies himself as Monado. His name is Monado.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wait, how do you spell it?
M-A-N.
No.
You really said A at the beginning?
Monado.
Spelling bee fail, am I right?
Monado. N.
I can spell it myself. I just can't spell it out.
He
loud.
can't spell it.
I believe you. Now let's continue.
Let's continue, indeed. So Schultz cuts Zanza in half, and Zanza starts, he starts disappearing. And this actually ties into the second one. If you remember, from the second one, for all you that were here, Rex and friends were on a time limit to use the power of, reality shifting, because Klaus was dying and fading from the world. Now you remember Klaus was cut in half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zanza is Klaus.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's not that
So
one.
that's why half of him was fading? Yeah.
This is the other half of him. Half of Klaus was fading, which made the other half fading,
yeah.
because Schultz cut him in half.
Yeah.
So,
That raises a lot more questions.
oh yeah. We'll get to those
Like a
questions.
lot.
Anyway, so Zanza kind of just accepts, oh crap, I'm fading, I'm dying, oh shit, I'm going. Yeah, that kind of happened. And then Shulk appears in space with Alvis. Sort of.
Wait,
Huh?
have we been hinted at space was a thing at any other point in this
We've
game?
been in a weird where the battle where you're fighting Sansa is in a weird space looking area. It's not really explained what it is. You're just kind of in a fucking.
It actually does.
Does
sort
it?
of.
I guess
You have
it
to
does.
look very much into it, and I have done just that.
There's planets and shit. When you're
you
going,
see Saturn.
yeah, actual real
Earth,
planets.
and other things
When we got here teleported by the Bionis teleporting the fight.
from the Bionis.
So
Now
Zanza
we're-
is controlling the Bionis from this space station.
The Bionis he kind of just abandoned after he got both Monado. He didn't really care about that world anymore.
Oh, so it's kind of like a ghost and machine kind of situation where he can
We'll see.
move his soul to.
One second.
Okay.
Okay, so after Zanza,
Okay.
after Zanza dies, Shulk appears in the headspace that he's talked to Alvis before in. Once in the dream, right before the spider incident, and once again after he died. So he appears again. Alvis is just this glowing ball of light now. And Shulk is rightfully confused as to what the hell Alvis is. And Alvis tells him that he's a computer program, but that it wouldn't make much sense to Shulk because that technology just wasn't there. So he's an AI, essentially. And I can go into more depth with that if you'd like, but one moment. He reveals that the Bionis and Mechonis started, that universe was created because Klaus, back when Earth was a thing.
And Klaus is Zanza.
Klaus is Zanza, yes.
Okay.
Or Klaus turned into Zanza. When Klaus was a human, that humanity found this superpower source, which we know as the conduit from the second one, which is what gave the Aegises so much power. But they found this power, and Klaus decided, fuck this universe, we want to restart. So he literally hit the reset button and destroyed the universe, which created more than one, as it turns out. It created both this one, the Bionis and the Mechonis, and the world of Allrest, Rex and that one.
So the Bionis and Mechonis existed from the beginning of the universe because they were just created alongside the universe.
They were created alongside several others, yes.
Okay. Did the soul for the Mechonis just exist once this universe formed?
No. In the flashback, we say that Mayneth was also a human, Klaus's partner. What was her name? Damn it.
Unnamed woman.
No, she hasn't. Whatever.
Thank you.
I'll look that up later. It doesn't really matter. We can put the name right here or
How
something.
about Helen?
Let's go with Helen.
Yeah.
It's definitely not Helen. Anyway, so the universe blows up because Klaus decided he wanted to reset everything. Mayneth, as a human, tried to stop him, sort of, but she was just pushed to the ground because she was a weak bitch.
I love female characters with agency and names.
Wow. We actually didn't get her name in the first one. She was just a woman. What's up?
It's Galea. It's Galea.
Thank you.
Galea. Galee.
Glenn.
Glenn.
Let's get back to lecture.
Thank you. Oh, bless you, by the way.
I didn't actually sneeze.
No. I know that was...
Get back to lecture.
I was
Anyway.
just blessing you.
So Alvis basically tells Shulk, you're the only one with a Monado. You have all 3 Monado now. And you're God. What do you want to happen to this world? And you have to choose quickly because you don't have all that time with this all-powerful source. Because it's fading. Kind of like what happens in the Xenoblade Chronicles too, right?
Oh my god.
Right? It's all tied in. So Shulk decides...
Why is it fading?
Huh? Alvis's power. All power. Basically, the power of the Monados is going to fade very soon, so he needs to use them now.
Is that just because Zanza died and that
Because
made it...
everything. Yeah, because he killed Zanza and Mayneth was already dead. There's no more link to this world. Essentially.
Oh, gotcha.
That's.
okay.
It's never really specifically said that way. That's my interpretation of this.
Got it.
So there's no. Kind of like he cut the Ethernet cord or he cut the power cord.
Gotcha.
No more connection. So Shulk decides, you know what? I don't want any more gods in this world. So he destroys all 3 Monado at once and creates the universe anew. He recreates the Makanis and everyone that died there. Recreates the Bionis and everyone that died there. I'm not the High Entia. He couldn't really do anything about that, I guess. So they're all dead.
Or maybe he's just pissed at the racist Hyentia.
He might be. Well, Callian was a cool guy, Melius's brother. Anyway, yeah. It's not super important, but the reason Melia is not turning into a Telethia, despite being Hyentia, is because she's also part Homs. So all the half Hom are half Hyentia. Shut up.
That makes a lot of sense.
They didn't turn. That was intentional as to why, or it was intentional because...
It was
They
intentional.
intentionally bred them together so that they wouldn't turn into Telethia.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And Melia was chosen to be Empress rather than her older brother Callian because she would not turn into a Telethia.
Oh.
It was kind of just glazed over because, you know, the world was ending. That way. So yeah, that kind of happens. Fiora eventually gets her human body back. Doesn't really explain how they did that. The Makna doctor was just working on that the whole time, I guess, off screen. And it eventually worked. She got a haircut too. That was kind of like the last point they made. What's up?
I just figured it happened because Shulk restarted the universe and all. I figured he was just like, oh, we'll fix Fiora too.
We could say that. We don't really get
It was Shulk that gave.
I like that better. I like it. It's like Shulk was like, yeah, my vision of Fiora will be fixed, and then it's like, you have titties again.
Short hair. Let's go.
Oh my god! Yikes!
So yeah, that happened. Yeah, and then everyone lives happily ever after. Until the next episode. There's literally a future episode where it's a few months.
Oh yeah, future connected. Yeah.
I actually haven't played that.
Oh my god, I have.
This is the end, right?
Yeah, that's the end.
Yeah.
Now's the time for lingering questions.
Yeah, questions.
What was the
job,
space station
Paul.
thing?
Which space station thing?
Where he was fighting Zanza. What was that?
It wasn't a space station. You were just out in space.
Let me just...
How did you get there? Why were you there?
You teleported from the.
I'm gonna go set all my
Bionis,
shit
and
up.
I guess it was just there because that was Zanza's memory. Oh crap! Not kind of because that was what Zanza knew before. You were just in Zanza's headspace,
Basically.
sort of. In his memories.
okay.
And he remembers the solar
Fucking
system as it
Earthbound.
was.
Find it.
Genius!
You dropped the boat.
Alright.
Open this fuck.
This has been Shaka University's Xenoblade Chronicles 1 lecture. Thank you for attending.
Would have been an Earthbound lecture, and I even made a board for an Earthbound
So we
lecture,
heard.
and it took me a half hour to make.
No, we should just draw fast.
Alright, so if you've made it this far into the lecture, you deserve to know the full story. And Paul gave some really interesting details after the camera was rolling, and as the editor, I just wanted to throw them in. So, did you ever wonder why the Bionis was actually fighting the Makanis to begin with? Because again, in human form, the two used to be lab partners and maybe romantic partners. So what's going on here? Well, essentially, Zanza is the Monado, right? And he believed himself to be the true god of the universe, the soul seer, the passage of fate, yada yada yada. And he refused to let any other being be as strong as him. The Makanis, or Maneth, once again his partner, was something that potentially stood in his way to immortality. Now this is more of Paul speculating, but he's pretty sure he's correct and I trust him. So the people of Makanis, they lived in opposition to the people of Bionis. Well, Bionis wasn't this constant state of resetting itself to feed Zanza, Telethia killing everybody, those are the tools for this. The Makanis only ever advanced, they never reset. Their technology just kept growing, so their technology eventually reached the giants who lived on Bionis, and Zanza was like, well shit, with these new technology, the people of Bionis are just gonna leave their homeland and go to Makanis where they're not gonna get reset. And if these people left, he didn't have this constant energy supply, so he's just losing energy. So Zanza didn't really like the idea of being left to die of starvation, so he just tried to destroy the threat. And again, he gave 0 fucks that he and Maneth used to be partners, and he eventually kills her without so much as a look of regret. He holds everyone around him in contempt because he was the strongest being in the universe at that time. Classic anime villain stuff. Just so you know, that's why the two Titans were fighting in the beginning. Alright. Have a good day, and I hope you've enjoyed this Shaka University presentation.